minute late. What's that? They I know.
You on now?
I am live now. I is live. Welcome everyone. What's going on with my YouTube? No, I am live. I am live. I can see everyone coming in. Welcome, guys. Just need to get onto it. What's going on with my dashboard? I am live. Good, good. Good, good. Why is the chat upside down? Oh my god, what have I done? What have I done? There we go. That's better. Always a pleasure. Yeah, likewise, guys. Likewise. Yeah, I'm good, Jasper. I'm good. I've just been down the golf range. So I'm all up, refreshed, had a couple of coffees already. So I'm looking forward to hopefully what is going to be an intriguing race. So fingers crossed, guys, fingers crossed. Obviously, I won't lie to you. I may have cheered for Lewis when he got pole position yesterday. Gutted that I wasn't able to do the watch along for it, but it was just so great to see someone other than a Red Bull on pole position. And of course, yes, British bias, guys, happy to see Lewis on pole position as well. He's first since Saudi Arabia in 2021, believe it or not. That is a long time for Lewis Hamilton to not have a pole position. But has the Red Bull got the overall pace on the Mercedes? Yes, most likely. Is it possible for Mercedes to win this race today? I think so. I think so. Depends. It depends on the first lap, and yeah, whether or not Mercedes can make advantage of that extra speed they've got in the slower speed corners compared to the Red Bull straight line speed, because there's only a couple of ideal overtaking opportunities at Hungarian. So I'll see you in a bit. Good afternoon, Jordan. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. He's hoping for a grand piano falling out of the sky. Did I see the Rosberg photo? No. What's up with the what Rosberg photo? What's this about Rosberg? Oh. Every time he takes a photo. Is he got a curse or something? So every time he takes a picture outside of someone's garage, every time he does it, there's like the curse, but something happens to him. Damn you, Nico. Wager any chances of Ricciardo overtaking Perez? Ooh. Where is Ricciardo actually? He's starting 13th. Outqualified Tsunoda by 4 positions. FYI, guys. FYI. No, I don't think so. No, I think if anything, Perez is going to make his way further up the grid. I reckon Perez will probably make his way up to the back of the McLarens. I don't think he'll get past the McLarens. The McLarens have genuine pace here. All the talk, rightfully so, has been about Hamilton and, of course, Verstappen and them going side by side into the first corner. But Norris, very disappointed not to be on pole position yesterday. And Piastri was literally, what, was he 1,000th behind Norris's qualifying time? So those McLarens have got genuine pace and they're a great driver pairing. If either of them get a good start, like they did at Silverstone a couple of weeks ago, we could see the McLarens come into play here, and I think they'll be quite happy that all the talk is about Hamilton and Verstappen because they can just go about their business. He did it with Max yesterday and didn't get pole. Oh, that was what the photo was yesterday, was it? Oh dear. Nowhere Sky Kids report was tall. They're quite tall, to be fair to them. They are quite tall. Rivalry seems to have returned. Hamilton and Verstappen up front. Yes, this is the question. This is why I've put in my poll, guys. Can Lewis beat Max? Or will it, yes or no, or will they not even make it to the first corner? We know how Max seems to have something in his head when it comes to Hamilton. He does. We saw it at Brazil last year. Like the one time that they came together all season wheel to wheel, and it ended up in contact with Max obviously not willing to give up. So something switches in Max's head when he comes up against Lewis. Is that going to reappear again today? We'll see. We'll see. What's your thoughts on the junior thing? I don't know. I haven't watched too much of Sky Sports this weekend, and I haven't seen too much of them. They're very confident, very, very confident, almost like off-puttingly confident. Like I was confident as a kid, but nowhere like these kids. But then that's also evident of how times have changed. Kids are a lot more confident these days with social media and stuff. But yeah, I mean, look, if it gets kids more into F1, then so be it. I think primarily the way to get kids into F1 though, and younger generations into any sport, is not to have it on paid TV. Simple as. You need it on terrestrial TV or cable TV, non-paying TV basically, like your standard channels. Like I'm a big golfer. I've played golf my whole life, and to see the Open Championship, which is on this week, is on Sky, it's a shame. It should be on the BBC. It should be on normal TV. And the same with F1. I think F1 should at least have... I thought when it went over to Sky, the partnership of having at least half the races on Channel 4, I think it was at the time, was a fair deal. Because then at least everyone gets to kind of get intrigued into it. And then maybe, okay, if you want to watch the whole package, you sign up to Sky. But Sky just has such a monopoly on sports now. It's a real shame. And I think that's the way to really get kids into sports in general. But it's a good idea with Sky F1, but ultimately it's... Yeah, I don't know. How many kids... I'd like to see the numbers. How many kids truthfully would be tuning into that just because there's kids presenting? I don't know. Max 23 be like winning the race. Max is the way faster car, no chance for Hamilton. Well, you say that, Glitch. You say that. This track seems to suit the Mercedes. They were on pole position here last year. They got shafted really kind of by just being on the wrong tyre. The hard tyre was not... Did they start on a hard tyre last year? I can't remember. I can't remember exactly what happened last year, but it didn't pan out for them in the race. Hungarian seems to be a good track for them, and this track as well, guys, is a lot harder to overtake than it is anywhere else. Really, there's only two primary overtaking opportunities, which is down into turn 1, down into turn 2, and then you see the odd overtake into turn 4 if someone gets a run and they go side by side. But ultimately, it's those two opportunities. So the rest of this sector is kind of pointless. It's all about just staying close to the car in front, not ruining your tyres, and then being tight to them round turn 14, turn 13 and turn 14 so that you can get the DRS down into turn 1. What is intriguing here is that all of the charts yesterday, all the data suggests that the Mercedes was quickest in the slower corners, where really that is the most important here. Because while the Red Bull is quickest in a straight line, and they were quickest by the time they got to the end of the start-finish straight, it's not the longest start-finish straight in the world. And if the Mercedes get that better traction out of turn 13, out of turn 14, even turn 12, these last 3 corners are very slow corners where you need the rear traction. And if they get that extra speed, if Hamilton is ahead and he can stay probably, I reckon, 7/10 ahead, maybe even half a second ahead of Verstappen, then he should be fine. So it's going to be intriguing today. I think it's more so going to come down to strategy at the front than it is the actual overall pace of the cars, but we'll see. This is Multiviewer. I'm using Multiviewer. Free app. Do need an F1 subscription though. I'm doing F1 in schools for my selective this semester. Oh, nice one. Think they've been presenters already, so that's why they're confident. Yeah. I mean, you can see it. You can definitely see it. Max hasn't got a balance problem with the car, though, he said, so let's see. Yes. Yeah, we will see. Obviously, they're in part firmware now, so they can't make any changes to the car other than front wing changes, or yeah, that's pretty much it. They've got the setup that they've got, and he has to deal with it. He complained of understeer yesterday, which might cause problems. Yes, so I did. So for you Max Verstappen fans out there, I also read that Max did have the fastest. He did have the fastest first and second sector yesterday in qualifying, but he couldn't put those together. If he put those together in a single lap, he would have had pole position by about a 10th, maybe a couple of tenths. But this is the problem with the balance he's got, is that if he pushes in one sector, the car is probably suffering a bit in the next sector. So, as you said, there's that balance. Fultz and Zhou qualifying. Yeah, those Alphas, what fuel did they put in that car this weekend? Was it rocket fuel? Jesus, Zhou was up in P1 after Q1. Unbelievable, considering what has been the slowest car probably on the grid other than the AlphaTauri. Wow, unbelievable. Is it track dependent though? This is the thing. I know teams have brought upgrades, but that is a big old leap for where they are now. I mean, sandwiching a Ferrari there, beating an Aston Martin, a Red Bull. I mean, beating Stroll as well. I mean, they've beat some guys there on outright pace alone, which is very surprising. Like, you would have thought, okay, maybe their car performs better on the hard and medium tyre compared to everyone else with the new qualifying format, but they'll be 9th and 10th when it comes to qualifying in Q3 with normal service resumed on the soft tyre, and look at where they are. Brilliant. It's great to see. Will they be able to do that in a race? I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, race pace is very different to qualifying. Some teams set up their cars more on the preference of the race than the qualifying. But this track is a little bit more. Qualifying is more important because track position is key here, because we know how difficult it is to overtake. So. Right. Everyone's on the grid. How long have we got till the race? 15 minutes. 15 minutes to start, guys. So not long until we see what tyres people are starting on. So speaking of tyres, let's have a look, shall we? Let's have a look exactly what is the optimum strategies for today. I do have these here. So here are the strategies for today, guys. We have suggested by Pirelli a 2-stopper. So what is intriguing here this weekend, guys, is that we have the compounds of tyres that are selected for this weekend are one step softer than last year. So the hard tyre for this year is... the soft tyre for this year is non-existent. So the medium tyre would have been the soft tyre for last year, and then the hard tyre would have been the medium tyre for last year. So that means we're going to get more wear in tyres, hopefully. We will see if that is the case, which should definitely mean we get either one of those at the top, a 2-stopper. So either a medium to hard hard or medium hard medium. We have a 3-stopper, which could be very aggressive. I think it's supposed to be a dry race today, so no inclement weather, and then a 1-stopper, which I just don't think. I think 1-stopper has been proved, unless there's safety cars. A 1-stopper has been tried here a couple of times at Hungarian, and it's never proven to have worked out. That the tyres do fall off a cliff. We saw Max get chased down by Lewis a few years ago trying to do the 1-stopper, and I think we saw a couple guys try and do it last year as well. So it just hasn't worked. Now let's have a look at the next one, which is their tyre allocation for today. So Verstappen has one set of hards available and 2 sets of mediums. Of course, we know the Red Bull's very good on tyres anyway, so having new sets isn't the be-all and end-all. Perez has 1 new set. Leclerc has the same amount of sets. Sainz has 2 new sets of softs available, which might be intriguing, as well as Russell. Of course, they're a lot further down the back of the grid. Hamilton has the same amount of sets available as Verstappen, Perez, and Leclerc. Is there any outliers here? So pretty much all the guys up front have the same set of tyre allocation, except for Norris, who only has 1 set of brand new mediums compared to... Oh, actually, sorry. He has a brand new set of mediums compared to a set of 2 used compared to the guys up front. So that could be essential for Norris, being on a brand new set of mediums. I wonder if he's going to bolt those on at the start, try and get a good launch down into turn 1. Keep an eye out on that. Don't remind you of 2019. And then the guys at the back, Magnussen has a brand new set of 2 mediums, but has used all his hards, same as Hulkenberg. Ricciardo has no new hard tyres available. But really, Ricciardo's fight here is to beat his teammate. That's all we can do. If he comfortably beats Tsunoda this weekend, that's a great return for him. Obviously, job 1 has been done, i.e. in regards to qualifying. Sargent and Albon at the back there. So yeah, some intriguing tyre selections. Will the soft tyre come into play? Don't know. Obviously, we've seen the safety car here a few times in the past. As I said, don't think there's any rain that's forecast, but we'll see. Do you know what? I can see it happening, Spud. I can see it happening. I think Max is going to get spicy. I think Max will, because theoretically, he doesn't have anything to play. He doesn't really have much to play for now this season. Like, he's far enough ahead. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. I just think Lewis brings out something different in him. So we'll see. I didn't go to Silverstone this year. No, I was kind of priced out of it, Jasper. Yeah, I was priced out of it, so I decided not to go this year. I might do next year. I might try and get early tickets, but even then, I don't really have much interest going to the Grand Prix on the Sunday, because it's just too, like, the standard price is just too expensive. I'd probably just go to the practice day, general admission, because you've got more space to walk around, roam, see the cars from different parts of the circuit. Whereas on the weekend, it's just too busy, and of course the cars aren't on track that much. So, but one of my friends is out at Hungary this weekend, and he's been out there for 3 days. He has spent I think he spent around £400 for a grandstand ticket, which is down at the end of turn 1. So he's got probably the best seat in the house. Accommodation, travel for around £400, less than that. That's unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable that he's got that. And I think a grandstand ticket at Silverstone for the Grand Prix on Sunday was upwards of that, easy. Upwards of £500 British pounds. So, love to see Lewis win, but I think he said they're slower on race pace or something. Crazy like that. Yeah, well, they are. They are slower than than the Red Bull on race pace. That's been the case all season. He's going to downplay ultimately their chances, because that's how it's been all season. But we'll see. We'll see. If there's a track for them to do it, this is one of them, like Monaco. But the key for Red Bull is that they're probably quick and clean air. So general admission was £600. GA was 300. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean it's just ridiculous, absolutely. But then people pay it. So it's like, if you sell a product and if you can get £500 for it, why would you not sell it at £500? But I think there's going to come a point where, yeah, it becomes too expensive. Honestly, I enjoyed the Friday and Saturday way more than Sunday. You get to see more of the cars on track in those 2 days. Yeah, exactly, and that's what I will do if I go next year, is go on the Friday. Just get to roam around more. How much was the flights? Oh, pittance. Because he flew into Austria, Vienna. So he's flown into Vienna and then he's got the train over to Budapest. So I think the flights into Vienna were like no more than 50 quid return. Like you can get some real cheap flights over to Europe, like certain cities, for real cheap, like return flights, like EasyJet, Ryanair and stuff. It's not expensive at all. And then the train tickets, and I mean train fares across the rest of Europe are so cheap compared to the UK. And then, yeah, he's got accommodation over there, which is probably super cheap as well. And it's just, I've heard Hungary is the most affordable Grand Prix to attend in the world. That's what I've been told. Spa's another good one apparently as well. That's quite affordable, especially Ryanair. Hopefully Mclaren gets a good launch. Dicey's up turn 1. Yes. Well, as we just said, we just noticed Norris has a brand new set of medium tyres available to him, and no other drivers around him have that. So that could be key in him getting a good launch off the line, having that extra bit of rubber compared to Hamilton and Verstappen. Obviously, he aced the launch at Silverstone, so yeah, hopefully he gets a good one here. Hey, EVGA, good to see you, by the way. In Hungary, is it hard to overtake in real life as it is in iRacing? Yes, pretty much. Yeah, there's only a couple of places. I would say turn 1, turn 2, and turn 4 if you're lucky. But pretty much it's turn 1 and turn 2. Turn 1 is the prime overtaking place. You do see some overtakes into turn 5 if there's like... because people do go wide out here. I think track limits could come into play here today as well, guys. They were very much enforcing them yesterday. So track limits, important to take notice of down at turn 4 on the exit. On the exit of turn 5 as well. Then you have turn 9. And then you've got turn 11 and turn 12. It's really where they've been looking at track limits. Lots of people had their times deleted yesterday for track limits at turn 5 or the exit of turn 5. And the exit of turn 12. Didn't really see it at turn 11, but exit of turn 12 and turn 5. So I reckon there could be some more penalties dished out here today. We will see. Swear Ryanair pilots tried to crash. I think that's just the planes. I don't think it's the pilots. They're doing the best as they can with what they've got. Thought I have Ryanair now kicks you in the shins unless you pay £20 extra. I haven't been on a... I need to renew my passport actually. My passport's run out, which is quite bad. Food is measured expensive at Silverstone. 12. But yeah, that's the thing. It's not just the cost of the ticket. It's also the cost of getting there, and then it's the cost of food and drink as well. And it's just... I might try and wrangle someone from work to take me there on corporate. Get the full experience, you know. Everyone at work knows I do this. It's quite cool. Valencia to Vienna is absolute peanuts. Yeah, I mean, train fares across Europe is absolute peanuts compared to the UK. We are ripped off over here, to be honest. But right, how long we got? We have got 5 minutes, guys. Less than 5 minutes until the race starts. Who do we think's going to win? Come on, let me know in chat. Come on, who's going to win? Is it going to be Hamilton? Is it going to be Verstappen? Do you think one of the McLarens, Norris, Piastri's gone very much under the radar? Could it even be one of the Alphas? Could it be Zhou or Bottas? Let's see. I haven't been this excited for a race all season, I think, because of the unpredictability of it. Now, I'm going to say something really bold here, guys. I was happy to see Lewis get pole position yesterday, but would it be the worst thing in the world, or could it be the best thing for this race if Lewis and Max crashed out at the first corner? Because if you take those two out of it, you've got the two McLarens, you've got Leclerc, Alonso. I'm just saying, that could actually create a better race than having Hamilton and Verstappen up front. I hope not, because I do want to see Max and Lewis go at it. But I'm just saying, that thought is just coming to my head. That would be biblical. Oh, Twitter would be absolutely in. Oh, imagine the Lewis fans and the Max fans going at it online. Oh my God, I think Twitter would just. There'd be a massive spike in. Elon Musk would sit there and go, "What the fuck? Why is there so many notifications of like tweets going up right now?" Oh yeah, Lewis and Max have crashed. That'd be why. But we'll see. Right. Let's have a look, guys, at the tyre selections here. So, as we predicted, Lando Norris is on the fresh medium tyres. Could be essential for him getting down into turn one. Hamilton and Verstappen starting on the mediums. So, everyone in the top 8 starting on the mediums. Perez taking that alternative strategy. Going to go longer, hopefully, on the hard compound tyre. So, he's going to try and maybe hope for a safety car. Get into clean air while the guys ahead inevitably pit sooner and run some lap times and do the overcut. Keep an eye on Perez as we get to the pit stops, guys. Hulkenberg on the mediums. We have signs on a brand new set of soft tyres going bold. He has to at a track that is arguably difficult to overtake on. He needs to make some early positions. Ocon and Ricciardo on the medium tyre. Stroll and Gasly on the soft tyre as well. Tsunoda going for a brand new soft tyre. So they're hoping that Tsunoda can make up some early positions. And then Russell, interestingly, on the hard compound tyre, like Perez, going to try and do the overcut. Make up some early positions if he can, and then go long on that tyre and see how they get on. Woo! Right, not long, guys. Not long until they go off. Need to just make chat box a little bit smaller. Right, they got to be off pretty soon, haven't they? They've got to be going on their lap now. There we go. They are on the move. Here we go as everyone lines up. So, woo, here we go, guys. Here we go. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We are doing these watch-alongs as many times as we can this season. I'm moving into the new flat very soon, guys. So, yeah, hoping to get back to doing regular qualifying and race watch-alongs. But not long. I'm 3 subscribers away from 11,000, so who wants to be my 11,000 subscriber? Right, guys, here we go. Not long. Hopefully you can see the track map. Sargent bringing up the rear here. Let's see what they can do. Risk of rain for today is 0%, which I think is actually quite good because we're going to see proper strategy come into play here. We know Hungarian always throws up some good races. I think it's a bit like Silverstone, to be honest. While they always say it's a difficult track to overtake on, it always throws up a pretty good race and memorable races. So, yeah, we will see. So Hamilton's backing up the pack now, obviously not wanting to sit on cold tyres at the front of the grid. And we are only a couple of minutes away from this race starting. Right, come on. Just having a look at anything. George asking, is the rear right in temperature? Confirm it. So Lewis confirming 4 burnouts. 4 burnouts. So this is all to do with tyre warm-up. And we are only seconds away, guys, from the start of the Hungarian, sorry, I got mixed up with Hungary and Hungarian Grand Prix. Yes, as Hamilton lines up, P1 on the grid, Verstappen second, Norris third, McLaren finishing that second row with Piastri in fourth, Zhou in the Alpha in fifth, Leclerc sixth, Bottas seventh, Alonso eighth, Perez ninth, Hulkenberg 10th, Sainz 11th, Ocon 12th, Ricciardo back in F1 in 13th, Stroll 14th, Gasly 15th, Albon 16th, Tsunoda 17th, Russell 18th, Magnussen 19th, and Sargent bringing up the rear here as he lines up in 20th position. Here we go, guys. This is the Hungarian Grand Prix as Sargent lines up at the back of the grid. Your lights will be on. We are seconds away, and it is lights out, and away we go. Zhou has bogged down massively there, as you see on the track map, and Hamilton, seems like the McLarens have got a great run down into turn one. Hamilton and Verstappen contact-free into turn one. Yes, as Zhou has lost 10 positions, and Hamilton has lost 2 positions into the first corner there. Verstappen and Piastri have got ahead of Hamilton. Not a great start, and Norris has got ahead of Hamilton as well, as Hamilton made contact with Verstappen or one of the McLarens, because that is 3 positions lost in the first couple of corners. And Ocon and Gasly, the 2 Alpines, are at the back, and I'm watching the TV camera as Hamilton came straight over to block off Verstappen, and Hamilton got driven out to the outside by Verstappen. It was a fair move. And Piastri swooped round the inside, and then Norris swooped round the outside of Hamilton. So a very poor start from the Mercedes of Hamilton, and Piastri's all over the back of Verstappen here. So keep an eye on those McLarens. They are a true force this weekend. But the Alpines, oh my God, they have made contact and they are at the back of the pack. Ocon seems to be okay, but Gasly's going quite slowly. So after your first lap, Verstappen, Piastri, Norris, Hamilton, Sainz has made up 5 positions in the first lap. He is already on the back of his teammate Leclerc. Wow, what a start by him. But Jesus, Zhou, what happened with Zhou there? I wasn't keeping an eye on him, but he lost 11 positions at the start. Did he hit anti-stall? Because he just went so far down the pack. Russell is another big gainer there at the start. He is 5 positions up on the hard compound tyre, 13th. Bottas lost 5 places. So the 2 Alphas have really suffered there at the start. Danny Ricciardo is also one to lose out there in the furore at the beginning. Down in 18th position as Tsunoda has made up 6 places, the most gained of anyone so far in 11th place. Stroll as well. I've been intrigued to see that replay back, but as we take stock, it is Verstappen out front from Piastri, then Norris, then Hamilton, with the 2 Ferraris not too far behind. Woo! Turn 1, lap 1, incident noted. So, yeah, there was quite a lot happening. Jesus. Hey, Zed, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Now, if anyone is looking back at, was Verstappen's move on Hamilton fair? Yes, it was. He did leave him plenty of room, in my opinion. It's the nature of the corner. But by doing that, and Verstappen and Hamilton focusing on that, well, Piastri, who got a mega start, just swooped round the inside and overtook him. And then Hamilton was out of sorts, and Norris swooped round the outside of Hamilton through turn 3 and turn 4. But Gasly is out of this race. Gasly has had to pit and is out of this race. It'd be interesting to see what happens with Ocon, because he is quite far behind. But, oh no, Gasly, another DNF. Shocking. Shocking. Is that his 3rd or 4th DNF this year? Not good whatsoever. So, Piastri setting a fastest first sector there. He is up into P2. Norris P3. Hamilton P4. Down 3 positions into 4th place. They're just saying, Martin Brundle is saying, yes, they need to switch over those Ferraris pretty quickly, because Sainz is on the soft tyre, Leclerc is on the medium. Sainz, I tell you what, he could get onto the back of Hamilton here and attack those 4 at the front. They need to swap them over pretty quickly. If they don't, then this is going to be poor for the Ferraris. Are they going to let Sainz pass Leclerc? We will see. So let's take stock of the position series. There aren't any overtakes made there. Further back, Magnussen's also made up 5 positions. Albon is up a couple of positions. So is Sargent. And Ocon has also had to retire. Oh, a double DNF from the Alpines again. 2 weekends in a row. Oh my God, they're out. They are out before the second lap. So we're watching the replay. Let's have a look. So, Zhou, basically, massive anti-stall. Massive anti-stall. Hamilton bogged down at the start a little bit. Just watching it back. And then... so Piastri actually didn't get... Oh my God, it was the 2 Alpines who made contact. Oh my God. Absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking from the Alpines. Making contact on the first corner like that. They've taken each other out. I don't know if that was Gasly, if that was Ocon who did it. Just trying to watch it back. Oh no! No, it was Zhou. It was Zhou. So Zhou, already with the poor start, locks up, hits Daniel Ricciardo in front of him, and Daniel Ricciardo hits the Alpine in front, who then take each other out. Guan Yu Zhou is going to get a penalty for that, surely. Daniel Ricciardo, and neither of the Alpines are at fault there. That is a real shame. That is all. Guan Yu Zhou has had an absolute shocker of a start. He's lost 11 positions at the start, and then he ended up basically thought, I'll do a Valtteri. He's my teammate. I'll channel my inner Valtteri. And just took out 3 competitors at the first corner. Oh, God. What happened to Ricciardo? Yeah, we're just looking at it on the replay. It's neither the Alpine's fault or Daniel's fault. Daniel got rear-ended by... I mean, we'll see how much damage Daniel got from that. It's a shame. I think Daniel might be hampered here for the rest of the race. There was quite a bit of carbon fibre that flew off, so we'll see. But that is a real shame for the Alpines. Nothing that they could do there. And then, yeah, so the start, Hamilton... Well, Norris tried to go round the outside. He couldn't go on the inside because he committed to the outside. And where Verstappen obviously drove Hamilton to the edge of the track fairly, because there was room, Piastri just went, yoink, I'll take the inside. And that's exactly what he did, which is why he's now second ahead of his teammate. So, let's have a look. So, the Ferraris still haven't swapped over, which is interesting. I'm really surprised they haven't released... Carlos Sainz. Ferrari, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's on a different strategy. Let him get ahead and try and make up as much time as possible. Like, he's on the softer compound tyre. Very shame. It's a bit strange that. Alonso in 7th place. Perez is in 8th. Let's see. Perez is actually all over the back of Alonso right now with DRS open. Does he have enough to get him down into the first corner as they go side by side? And Perez gets Alonso before they even get to the turn 1 corner. But, of course, there is DRS back down into turn 2, and Alonso is all over the back of Perez. Does he think about it? No. Holds station. Probably not his fight today, Alonso. Or I say that, actually, he has. He has overtaken Perez back down into turn 2 and thought, I will have some of that. Thank you very much. Woo! Bit feisty from Alonso there. Congrats to Max for another easy victory. Well, we'll see. We'll see. He's 2 seconds ahead of Piastri at the moment. It is a long race. It is looking like that. I hope not, but we'll see. We'll see. So just watching it at the moment. That overtake again from... So Perez never actually made the overtake there. He did get ahead of him, but Alonso held on to it through to turn 2. Right, so here we go again. Not a lot happens at the top of the circuit, to be honest, guys. It's more about at the bottom of the circuit up to turn 4. But Daniel Ricciardo actually is holding on to the back of Sargent quite nicely. 26.2 last time around. So hopefully that damage is not too severe for him in regards to lack of performance. So here we go again. Perez on Alonso. Doesn't quite get past him. And that's quite telling. Now, I know Perez is on the harder compound tyre. But in races gone by, the Red Bull would quite easily breeze past the Aston Martin with DRS down that main straight. There has been talks, of course, from Mercedes yesterday, hints from Hamilton, that the Red Bull, their DRS efficiency is not as big as it has been in previous races. Why is that? Stir in the pot, I think, but maybe there's something to it. No, she's up there watching F1 at the moment on. She prefers watching it just on the TV. Another flying Red Bull, yeah. So let's keep an eye. So Piastri has actually gained a bit of time on Verstappen there, I think. No, still staying around the steady 2-second mark. Norris at the moment is outside DRS to his teammate, 1.6 seconds behind. We have Hamilton is also the same behind as well as Max sets the fastest lap of the race. Half a second quicker last time around to Piastri, making up a lot of time in those last couple of corners. He made up half a second on, or 3 tenths on Piastri there out of turn 13 and turn 14. So lot better on the slower corners, the rear traction corners than the McLaren, it seems. Hamilton 1.5 seconds behind at 25.1 last time around. And then Leclerc is 1.7. So it seems to be, if you look at it, those guys at the front, of course, Verstappen is pulling away as much as he can. But Norris, Hamilton and Leclerc and Sainz have probably dropped back to a point of where they're just looking after their tyres. They want to be in a point at the moment where they're making their strategy work, looking after the tyres and thinking of the longer game at hand. 5-second time penalty for Zhou. That's understandable. Yeah, that's understandable. Oh, yeah, we can see it there. Yeah. And then track limits for Daniel Ricciardo. So he's the first person to get track limits. I'm surprised more haven't been seen at the moment. Norris, fastest middle sector there. Purple. Gasly with the 3 new softs. But so Perez, can Perez catch up to the back of Sainz on those soft compound tyres? How much are those soft compounds going to last for, or how long are they going to last for is the question. So let's have a look. Let's take stock. So last time around, Piastri did a fastest lap of his race, a 24.7. Norris with a 25.0, and Hamilton getting into the 24s now as well with a bit of clean air. So yeah, I mean, once again, it's Max's race to lose. We'll see what happens. I mean, surely the Red Bull this year have got... I mean, I'm really surprised they haven't had a mechanical failure yet. It's quite obscene that car has not had any mechanical issues whatsoever. It's a proper beast of a machine. Hey, Michael, good to see you, buddy. What does 5-second penalty do for Zhou? He's out of points and going to stay out of points. Well, it just has to be shown that incidents like that don't go unpunished, because ultimately, like, he's made a mistake, and he deserves to be punished for it. So Albon has come into the pits and gone onto a hard tyre. So that's a very early pit stop from Albon there, trying to get him into some clean air. Intriguing from the Williams there. Keep an eye on him trying to do the undercut. So he's going to go long on this middle stint and then do a medium tyre at the end, most likely, depending if there's no safety car. So let's have a look. Verstappen sitting another fastest lap of the race, putting out a 3.2 second gap on Piastri now. Piastri just breaking into the 24s, Norris 25s, Hamilton a 25.4 last time around. Did he make a mistake? Is he already struggling on that medium compound tyre? Because Leclerc did a 25.2. Sainz is doing 25.6s. So is that soft compound tyre falling off? As Tsunoda and Bottas are in the pits, both of them, as well as Lance Stroll. Those soft compound tyres are already falling off then. Only 10 laps they're running, or 9 laps into the pits. As Bottas is under attack from Albon. There'll be no DRS, I don't think, as they go down into turn 2. And Albon, with that extra lap of tyre warm-up, is he going to be able to overtake Bottas? We will see. They're also younger tyres as well, as Bottas has already run 5 laps on these tyres, as they did in Q1 yesterday. We will keep an eye on that. Probably not going to be an overtaking opportunity until they come back round to the start-finish straight. So let's keep an eye out on Carlos Sainz. Is he going to come into the pits this time around? Because it looks like he's the only last soft runner out there. He's probably got some free air. I think it's quite a short pit stop down here. Is he coming in? No, he's not. He's staying out. He's staying out. But he is being caught by Perez. Perez doing a 25.1 last time around. Sainz a 25.2. And bearing in mind, Perez is on the harder compound tyre. Adrian Newey and co are using Elven Magic. Well, I don't know how. Normally, fast cars have some reliability issues to them. But, yeah. I mean, even Mercedes had their reliability issues at some point throughout the season. And doesn't seem to be the case here. Q2 in Saudi and still finished 1-2. Yeah, it's just a beast of a car. So Stroll has set the fastest middle sector last time around on a fresh set of hard tyres. Fresher set. So Zhou comes out of the pits now onto a set of hards. So yep, the Pirelli strategy of a 7.3 second stop for Tsunoda. Where's Tsunoda come out of? Oh, that's a shame for Tsunoda. He's lost a few positions there. Tsunoda's lost a few positions with a 7-second pit stop. Oof. Piastri's doing really well. Piastri's a great driver. 24.7. 25.0 last time around. Norris a 24.8. Hamilton a 25.1. So as we said, don't know what lap times they're being targeted to set here. 4 seconds behind Verstappen. 2 seconds ahead of his teammate Norris. Hamilton 2.3 seconds behind. Leclerc 1.8 seconds. So we are definitely into the time management phase of this race. The medium compound tyre. Let's have a look. I can't remember what we said. It is going to be out for. Let's have a look. So the medium compound tyre is 17 to 24 laps or 18 to 25 laps. So around 17 to 25 laps is where that pit window for the medium compound tyre is to go onto the hards. So we'll see if anyone exceeds that. As Verstappen just made half a second on Piastri there. What happened there? Verstappen just really got his foot down and made up half a second on Piastri in that middle sector. Whoa. That was mega. As Zhou is setting the fastest laps at the moment on the hard compound tyre. As Bottas has set the fastest lap of the race. So definitely the harder compound tyre is really good at the moment. Yeah, well, Cramps, the soft tyre signs as... So the alternate strategy... Did I just shut it down? I didn't. So the alternate strategy, the starting of the soft compound tyre wasn't even suggested by Pirelli. But they reckon the soft compound tyre will only run... not long at all. So yeah, about 10 laps. So he's already exceeding that. Just trying to create a gap for himself, I assume. Was Ham's start bad or Max just get amazing start? It wasn't his best start. So it wasn't bad, but it also wasn't his best start. And And what happened is that he went over to cover Verstappen. Verstappen got the run on the inside, drove Hamilton out to the corner fairly, I will admit. Not his usual style where he drove him off the circuit. He left him enough room. And what that did is that blocked Hamilton out, allowed Piastri to go on the inside of both Norris, Verstappen and Hamilton. Verstappen stayed ahead of Piastri. And then Hamilton was out of position, because Norris was then straight on him and overtook him round turn 2 and up into turn 4. So not his best start. He did apologise for it. But yeah, just because of the nature of the first couple of corners and the McLarens making okay starts, yeah, he got swamped. So yeah, Sainz will probably accept that. So Zhou setting the fastest lap, down in 18th position. You're not Crab. My monitor's reversing your name. Is it? Right. Let's take stock then, guys. Let's take stock of this race. Let's have a look. So, Verstappen in first. 5.9 seconds ahead of Piastri now. Wow. Piastri second. Norris third. Hamilton fourth. Leclerc fifth. Leclerc's not doing too bad. He's not doing too bad. He's not on the pace with the McLarens and Hamilton, but he's doing okay. In pretty much a little race of his own at the moment. Sainz in sixth. Perez seventh. Alonso eighth in kind of, yeah, race of his own. Hulkenberg ninth. Russell and Magnussen are up 8 positions. Keep an eye on Russell. He's doing the alternate strategy, which is the hard compound tyre. He's going to try and do the overcut similar to Perez, and he's currently lapping at high 25s at the moment. Probably maybe looking at some tyre management at this stage of the race. Is he catching Hulkenberg? He is, ever so slightly, as well as Perez is on the back of Sainz here with DRS open. Keeps it tight. He is very close to Sainz. He's all over the back of him. He'll have DRS again as they head down into turn 2, as Magnussen comes into the pits and doesn't have enough. Those soft compound tyres still just have enough grip out of these slower corners to stay ahead of Perez, but surely can't be long until Sainz comes into the pits. As we have Magnussen into the pits. Where does he come out of? Is he going to get ahead of Sargent and Zhou? No. Is he going to stay ahead of Sargent? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. So, Danny Rick. Let's see where Danny Rick is at the moment. So, Danny Rick is 11th, guys. After, obviously, all those pit stops, Danny Rick is currently in 11th and is doing 1:25.5. He just set his fastest lap of the race, guys. So, yeah, seems to be okay. Sainz reporting, if I see Checo is going to pass me, I'll box, but not yet. So playing a team game to try and hold Perez up just a little bit longer. How's my chair back support wise? Yeah, absolutely fine. Yeah, it's really nice. What one is it? It's a ERS1 chair from Next Level Racing. Really comfortable. I'm a bit of a larger chap. I'm 6'2", doesn't look it on camera. So I needed a bit of the extra room. Bucket seats are always a little bit temperamental for me. I've found like width-wise and stuff. So yeah, being a bit broader and a bit bigger, I wanted something that's roomy and comfortable and reclinable. And this is a lovely chair. Yeah, Perez overtakes because Sainz came into the pit. So Sainz, 15 laps on those soft tyres, is now into the pit lane. And he comes out ahead of Stroll. Good choice by the Ferraris there. Finally, a decent strategy call from Ferrari. But Max putting out a 7.5 second lead on Hamilton now. On Piastri. So, I mean, looking at this pace, would Hamilton have had any opportunity to stay ahead of Verstappen? Probably not. Probably not. Piastri holding his teammate off at the moment. Hamilton, I think, is most definitely just tyre saving. So, yeah, not going to be too much movement up front as we see. As Russell is closing the gap on Hulkenberg. Is now within DRS zone So keep an eye on that battle there as Hamilton now comes into the pits. He is the first of those guys at the front to come into the pits. Lap 19. We said lap 17 to lap 25 is when the medium compound tyre was expected to be coming into the pits. So let's see where Hamilton comes out, as that is a good stop from them as Russell goes past on the hard compound tyre. He is going to get out ahead of Ricciardo into turn 1. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And he's out quite considerably ahead of Sainz. So that is a good stop from them. Maybe that was his true pace, though. That's a bit worrying. So does the Mercedes perform better on this brand new set of hard compound tyres? We will see. He's got some clean air between him and Russell in front. Let's see what lap times Hamilton can put down. So really, it's about the gap from him to Norris. He was 2.5 seconds behind Norris. Can he get ahead of him? How long is it going to take for McLaren to react to that possible undercut from the Mercedes? Keep an eye out on the McLarens now as they're coming round the last corner. Do any of them pit to cover off Hamilton? This will be interesting to see. I think Norris may come into the pits here. And he does. Norris comes into the pits to cover off Hamilton, so he needs a good pit stop here. He did have a 2-second buffer, and Hamilton is ahead of Ricciardo, so he is able to get some clean air, put his foot down. They've made a good stop. Norris has made a good stop, and it looks like quite comfortably Norris is going to stay ahead of Hamilton, and importantly, also stay ahead of Russell, because Russell is not going to be able to get ahead of Norris. Oh, he's all over the back of him. Maybe he does. And Norris, Hamilton, sorry, not Russell. The track map. I got confused. Russell didn't sweep around the outside of Norris. There was a little bit of delay there. And Russell is behind Norris. Oh, that's a bit of a shame, really, for the Mercedes, because if Russell got ahead of Norris there, he would have been able to have backed him up to help Hamilton. But at the moment, that is, a 5-second... over a 5-second gap between Hamilton and Norris. Wow. Hamilton has lost a lot of time there on that outlap compared to Norris. 9.4 seconds for Leclerc. Jesus Christ, man. I didn't even pay attention to that. I was focusing on Norris and Russell, but... wow. If it's not like... oh, God. Anyway, Piastri's now in the pits. Is he able to stay ahead of his teammate Norris, who was set the fastest second sector? As Perez now gets into some clean air. What was Ham's quality time? I can't remember. It was 0.003 seconds ahead of Verstappen. Is Piastri ahead of Norris? I don't think he's going to. This is teammates down into the first corner, side by side. Has Norris got ahead of Piastri down into that first corner, or is that a track map delayed? And no, Norris has pulled the undercut on his teammate. Wow, Norris setting the fastest second and third sector there to overtake his teammate in the first round of pit stops. What an outlap by Lando Norris. Oh my God, were they slow in the pit lane? No, McLaren made a very good pit stop. That was only a 2-second pit stop, so there was actually 3 tenths quicker than Lando Norris, but Lando was so quick on his outlap that he overtook Piastri. Wow, what an outlap. And he's fastest in the middle first sector as well. You can't deny it. You can't deny the pace of Lando. That is mega. Oh, Martin Brundle saying they'll be a little bit concerned that Piastri got the second pit stop compared to but he got the second pit stop while he was the lead McLaren compared to Norris. The problem is that they wanted to cover off Hamilton, I think. But then again, there was quite a comfortable lead on Hamilton by the time they did there. We'll see. We'll see what happens the next round of pit stops, whether Piastri gets the first pit stop or Lando. But yeah, intriguing. But Lando has just set the fastest lap of the race, a 23.5. Wow. That is some good pace. Now, will Verstappen come in and pit? Let's see. Hamilton is also questioning how have they got 9 seconds on us all of a sudden. That is a crazy amount, and I'm wondering that as well. Maybe just the Mercedes, obviously notoriously quite poor on their tyre warm up. On the they're quite notoriously poor on the tyre warm up of the hard compound tyre. Maybe that was an element. Or maybe Hamilton's got some damage, I don't know. But Sainz is catching up to Lewis at the moment. Lewis did a 25.5 last time around, and Sainz did a 24.7. So Hamilton is struggling in that Mercedes. Is there an issue in that Mercedes? Because he is slower than George at the moment as Alonso comes into the pits. Something doesn't seem right with Lewis's car. Let's see what lap time he does this time around. And Hamilton does a 24.2. So that's more like it. That is more like it. Maybe the tyre warm-up has just been very poor on that Mercedes. But yeah, he's had some very slow lap times previously. Verstappen could pit and still stay ahead of Perez. Yeah, Verstappen's got plenty of time in hand. Is Russell hoping for a safety car? Yes. Yes, he is, but he's also just trying to go as long as possible on this hard compound tyre. Try and do the overcut on some guys. They've got kind of the pace in that car. So if he gets a safety car, he'll be 5th place. I mean, he's up 13 positions at the moment. Russell pits. He's going to come out probably behind Tsunoda, Albon. So, yeah. Maybe they're going for a one-stop. A bold one-stop strategy. But yeah, as someone said, track temperature's 49.3 degrees. So it's very hot out there at the moment. Don't be the curse of Rosberg. Yeah. But Norris setting another fastest lap of the race. 23.4. So Piastri has asked, what do you want me to do here? At the moment, the tyre priority, look after the tyre is priority. Hit your target laps. So they're thinking about tyre management. But Norris, 23.4, half a second quicker than Verstappen last time around. That is, the McLaren, where have they got this pace from? It is brilliant to see. Brilliant to see. But wow, it's just, where has it come from? Such a turnaround after last week, eh? I mean, they look good in Red Bull, but Red Bull's always been a strong circuit for him, and especially for Norris. He likes it round there. And then Silverstone was just like, bam! Like, they are comfortably the 2nd fastest car on track at the moment, aren't they? Comfortably. Like in the last 2 races. Great to see. So, Lewis is 24.4 last time around. Intrigued to see what lap time he does. Russell is... So let's see what Perez does. Perez is a lap of a 24.9. Lando does a 23.8. And so does Piastri as well. So Verstappen still doing low 24s on the medium compound tyre. Perez on 25 old compound. I mean... It's mad, isn't it? It's absolutely mad. Verstappen is doing... It's got the same amount of lap tyres as Perez, and he's doing quicker laps than Perez on the hard compounds. That is just crazy. It is crazy, the pace difference in those two. Morning, Timo. Good to see you, buddy. And welcome, everyone. If you're new to the channel or if you're returning, please hit the like button. If you haven't hit the subscribe button as well, please do. Be much appreciated. We are currently 2 subscribers away, guys. 2 away from 11,000 subs. So I'd be really appreciated if we could hit that milestone today. So Max is now in the pits, guys. Max in the pit lane. Let's see how he gets on. Seems to be a trademark quick Red Bull pit stop, and he's going to come out on a hard compound tyre. Got to be in it. Yeah. Ahead of his teammate in P2, and comes out ahead of Norris by 6 seconds. So let's see what Verstappen can do on a fresh set of hards, yeah? How long is it going to take him to break the 23 barrier? I'm going to say 1 lap. 1 lap. So Lewis last time around did a 24.2. Carlos Sainz a 24.4. So that gap kind of staying consistent between him and Sainz. Leclerc, obviously with that poor pit stop, has been jumped by Sainz, doing a 24.4 as well. Let's have a look a little bit further down the grid. So Stroll is up 5 positions. He is actually ahead of his teammate Alonso, but of course is on a different strategy. He started on the soft compound tyre and has already done 19 laps on those hards. And as I say that, just on the TV coverage, Alonso has been told that Lance will let him past once he gets into DRS. So we have Bottas in 11th place, Albon 12th, Tsunoda in 13th. We have Hulkenberg 14th. Zhou is down 10 positions to 10th, down 10 positions to 15th. Magnussen 16th, Sargent 17th, and Ricciardo is in 18th. But at least Ricciardo has something to aim for ahead of him. He has Sargent, Magnussen, and Zhou ahead of him. If he can get onto the back of those and at least make some overtakes, show his racing chops, that'll be a good recovery for him this weekend after, obviously, that first corner incident with Zhou. As Perez now comes into the pits, 27 laps on those hard compound tyres. So where's he going to come out of? He's going to come out ahead of Leclerc. Oh, that's got to hurt for Ferrari. Oh, that has got to hurt. He has just split the Ferraris there. And Hamilton is ahead of Russell, I think. They've done the switcheroo. Team orders. Hamilton on a different strategy to Russell, of course, has been let ahead of him. So, Russell can't be long now until he comes into the pits, surely. Maybe they're just going to try and take him as far as possible. Sainz not on pace. No, 24.3, 24.2 for Hamilton. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's quite evident that the Mercedes doesn't have the pace of the McLarens today. I'm trying to see where this race is going to be interesting towards the end, to be honest. Because it doesn't seem like... Hang on, Hamilton on the radio. Hamilton asking, where am I losing all the time? So Hamilton has been told, where am I so slow? And he was told straight line speed and turns 11 and turn 14. So this one here and the last corner. And he asked, are they turning the engine down? And they went, no, we're controlling temperature situation. Make of that what you will, guys. Make of that what you will. Are they saving the engine? Leclerc stopped. Leclerc has stopped, guys. Leclerc has stopped at turn 2. What has happened here? Is this going to be a safety car? What has happened to Leclerc? Oh no, his day gets from bad to worse. And no, he's continuing again. And it's the track map. But he's definitely lost positions. What happened to Leclerc? He's got the car moving again. Leclerc is going slow. Leclerc has had an issue. Leclerc's definitely had an issue because he's lost positions to Stroll, Alonso, and Bottas. What has happened to Leclerc? Has he had a spin? Has he lost it? I'm waiting for the TV coverage to catch up. No. Leclerc didn't lose positions. The track map just... Oh. Why are you doing this to me? Why? Why is he doing it to me? Track map. As Perez is all over the back of Sainz and Sainz is over the back of Russell. So this is going to be tight between those three going down into turn 1. Because Sainz has got DRS on George Russell, but it seems to be Perez has got ahead of Sainz. Is he going to be able to take Russell down into T2 as well? No, he hasn't. Oof. Hamilton's pole isn't real. Well, it was real yesterday. Red Bull too much. Yeah, it's quite evident that something's not right with that Mercedes in race trim today. Did they set the car up more for a qualifying scenario rather than they did race? I don't know. Oh, that was tight between Sainz and Perez there. Nearly wheel-to-wheel contact as they went into turn 1. That's allowed Leclerc to catch up to Sainz. So Verstappen, 23.3 last time around. Norris has closed up the gap a little bit. He was, remember, 6 seconds behind after the pit stops. Now 5.6 seconds. But 24 seconds, 24 lap last time around. 24.2 for Piastri. 24.1 for Hamilton. I don't know. I don't think that... I mean, maybe looking at it, Hamilton isn't as slow as is as fast as the McLarens, but he's just not got the pace advantage that he wants to catch up to him. That's the difference. But something definitely kind of went wrong after that pit stop for them to lose 9 seconds. That was a big gap because he was only 2 seconds behind, 2.5 seconds behind, as Russell gets overtaken by Perez after the initial pit stop. When he made his pit stop, he was 2.5 seconds behind Norris. He then came out on the outlap, and by the time Norris made his pit stop, he was 5 seconds behind. He lost double the amount of time. That's probably Norris putting his foot down, but it was just, yeah, quite bizarre from them. Yeah, I don't get that either. It's an odd one. I mean, they're on different strategies. It's a testament to Verstappen and his tyre management, for one. Perez maybe having to push harder on those harder compound tyres as well at the start compared to Verstappen. Like, we'll see. But Russell's still out there. Russell, as I say that, he comes into the pits. So where is Russell going to come out? Russell's going to come out, behind Zhou. They need a decent pit stop. Otherwise, he's got a lot of work to do, Russell. Here he comes. Russell's going to have a bit of work to do here. Is he going to get ahead of Albon? I don't think he is. I think he's going to come out behind Tsunoda. Is he going to get ahead of Hulkenberg? Let's keep an eye on this. He's going to be behind Hulkenberg here. And he is. So Russell has got a bit of work to do. He has got to overtake Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Albon, Bottas, Stroll, and Alonso to get back to behind those Ferraris, which would be a P8 position. But he is on a fresh set of medium compound tyres compared to everyone ahead who is on a hard compound. Now, what is intriguing there, guys, is that Sainz just did the fastest first sector of the race. Is Sainz being told to get a move on? Is this him reacting to his teammate all over the back of him with DRS? That was an intriguing first sector there from Sainz, getting into the 29s, which no one has done. Max can go hard till the end. With how supreme that Red Bull is on tyres, it wouldn't surprise me. But I hope not. I don't think the hard compound tyre can go over 40 laps. As Perez sits the fastest lap of the race there. 23.1. Wow. That is a very quick lap time. Perez is on the move. He is aggressive. He smells blood because he could chase down Hamilton here. That was nearly a second whole. That was 8 tenths quicker pretty much than Hamilton last time around. Obviously, he's on the medium compound tyre. That is blisteringly quick. Where's George Russell? Gets past Hulkenberg there, down into T1. So it only took him a lap on a fresh set of medium compound tyres. So expect Russell to dispatch Tsunoda and Albon pretty quickly. So let's take stock of the guys up front. So Verstappen last time around did a 23.7. Gap is now out to nearly 7 seconds to Norris. Decided to put his foot down, a 23.6 this time around as Verstappen crosses the start-finish line. Norris, let's see what he does. He does a 24.0 and Piastri does a 24.4. So, yeah, no chance of them really catching Verstappen unless Verstappen has a mechanical issue or there's a safety car to bunch the pack back up. Hamilton does a 23.7. That's interesting. Maybe that's in response to, obviously, Perez setting another fastest lap of the race. 2 purple laps in a row, a 23.0. Definitely going to get below the 23 barrier next time around, I reckon. And Sainz is, of course, being chased by Leclerc there. Alonso's been let by Stroll. Bottas in the points. Not bad from him. Albon, by the way, guys. Albon is on for a points finish here, possibly. Although Russell's still got to come and fight his way through. Perez on the radio being told just to reel him in. Reel him in. So Perez with another 30.081 into the first sector. Not faster than last time around. Let's see what he does through sector 2. See if there's a purple in there. Let's go as he comes through turn 11. I believe that's the end of sector 2, or as they get down to turn 12. Not a fast. So only 1/10 quicker that time around on Hamilton. So Hamilton is responding here to Perez's fast laps. Cost Cap Saga last year did absolutely nothing to Red Bull. Well, it's not to say that it hasn't done anything to them. The problem is that Red Bull were already so far ahead of the field. That's the issue. They had so much of an advantage with this new regulation set that they have created for themselves. Right, like, fair play to them for doing it. And because there was not that big of a regulation change from last year to this year, they've still maintained that advantage. So if it was like, if they didn't have so much of an advantage and it was a lot closer, then it would have impacted them more. But they've got so much of an advantage already, which I know people have said is a minimal amount of money to spend in regards to their overspending. The grand scheme of things was a minimal amount. Well, I don't know. Is it coincidence that they've got? Hang on. Is there a correlation there for them being so far ahead of the field, with them being the only team to break the cost cap? I mean, you can put those two together. I think it's a reasonable argument. While it is only a minimal amount, that can relate to some very smart-minded people that you could bring in that could make a big difference with that amount of money. So, yeah, it's a shame, really. I've always been a big advocate for there being, rather than there being like a development time penalty, or it should be more of like a ballast penalty. A bit like what they do in the World Endurance Championship. They give a weight penalty to them, because Martin Brundle said a few races ago that every 10 kilograms worth of fuel equates to 3/10 of time per lap. So if you gave them a 10 kilogram ballast, that would make them 3/10 slower per lap. So that is an immediate penalty for them. Then it is elsewhere. So whatever the weight of their car is, they have to add an additional 10 kilograms, because they all work to a certain weight anyway. That would be more of an ideal and immediate penalty than this development penalty as well. And I'm also not a fan of no retrospective penalties. Like, ultimately, if you break the rules in a certain year, you should have points deducted or a championship removed for the year that you broke those rules, not for like a future penalty, if you get what I mean. That's how I think it should be. It's like gold medalists. Like, if someone's found to have doped and cheated with a gold medal a few years down the line, then that gold medal is removed from them. There's a retrospective penalty because they broke the rules there and then. They get a fine for not being able to, a penalty for not being able to race in future competitions and stuff. But then that actual medal and that award is removed from them and then passed down to the team or the person who actually competed fairly within the rules. So, but yeah. Apparently Ocon's seat broke when he was hit and he's now in a medical. Is he? Oh, Jesus. Not great. So yeah, Russell flying now in a bit of clean air as he catches up to the back of Bottas on a fresh set of medium tyres. Fastest lap of the race, wasn't he? Just a 23. Nearly broke into the 22s. We will see it at some point. Hey, Jenny, good to see you again. Just put a Spygate all over again. But they are catching. Teams are catching. I mean, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm intrigued to see. Apparently, there's rumours 3 more teams have broken the cost cap. We'll see who they are. I think we find out next month. Or the teams will find out next month who has broken the cost cap. We know that we will find out as well because leaks always happen in F1, and then it will officially be announced in September. So yeah, we'll see who's broken the cost cap and how they've broken it as well. So Verstappen's flying. Yeah, he's going to let Ricciardo. I mean, Ricciardo's been fighting. Unfortunately, he's made his third pit stop, second pit stop already on the medium compound tyre. Unfortunately, Ricciardo got a big old whack, didn't he, from Zhou into the first corner, which wasn't his fault. So a real shame for him. But at least he's had a good qualifying session and out-qualified Tsunoda. Just a shame he hasn't really been able to show it in the race today. He's been hampered, fighting handicapped all race. Stroll comes into the pits as Russell overtakes Bottas quite comfortably down into turn 1 and is now up into 9th position. So, where is this at the moment? We are actually halfway through this race. There is still half of this race left, guys. Where I'm trying to find out where is a point of interest, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. You don't get this sort of commentary on Sky, do you? I'm just trying to see where this race could possibly... Because I feel like the race is already... I feel like this race has already kind of been decided. Unless there's a safety car. Someone breaks down and there's a safety car or something. Like Verstappen's quite far ahead. Norris is quite far ahead of Piastri. Piastri's comfortably ahead of Hamilton. Obviously, Perez is chasing down Hamilton, but he's on a different strategy. The 2 Ferraris are fighting each other, but the field spread is quite considerable at the moment. So unless there's some real botched pit stops, because I can't see them all making it to the end on these tyres, especially with the track temp. We need something to happen perfectly, to be honest, guys. Your suspects spreading cost cap are Aston and Merc. Well, I actually don't think it is Merc. I don't think it is. I think... So I remember going to the Mercedes factory and they told me specifically that the biggest spend that they've had, or the biggest recruitment drive that they've had at the company, was their financial division. It's more than doubled in size since the cost cap came in, because of the cost cap era and because of being on top of those financials. Maybe they've tried to play around with some tax. Maybe they saw what Red Bull tried to do last year with the tax rebate. They got like a £4 million tax rebate, which didn't come through in time, which is why they initially were seemed to have broken the cost cap by 4 million, I think it was, or 3 million at the time, and then that's why it then got reduced down to like 400,000. Maybe there's that. I'd be surprised if it is Merc, to be perfectly honest with you. I think, yeah, it could possibly be one of the lower teams. Aston Martin wouldn't surprise me. Maybe even Ferrari. Maybe even Ferrari have broken the cost cap because they were in dire straits, haven't they? Or they have been. Maybe even Haas. I don't know. I always feel like Haas are a bit dodgy. But we'll see. We'll see. Did one gamer get copyrighted, did he? Oh. He's, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Hang on. That's just my photo. Don't worry. It's not TV coverage. Oh. Yeah, they always go around and do a spate of takedowns, unfortunately. What I'm going... I mean, the problem is that they target the wrong people. Hey, we just hit 11,000 subs. Thank you, guys. Much appreciated if anyone's new here. The thing is, if you look... I mean, you can look at like all the watch-alongs and stuff. There's so many people doing it. So many people doing it kind of similar ways. I mean, you got Kirif with 3.7k viewers at the moment. $4,000 viewers actually at the moment. So we'll see. I think Stroll might get the boot this year. The gap was just no. He's never getting the boot. Stroll isn't getting the boot. You know that. Ricardo's got past Sargent, guys. Get in there. Come on. Ricardo, it's all excuses. Well, Ricardo got rear-ended into the first corner and then made contact with... He basically got rear-ended by Joe, then made contact with the Alpine in front, which caused the Alpines to take each other out. So it's not Ricardo's fault today. 100% not his fault. He's fighting... He's racing today with a car that's quite damaged, I assume. There definitely seemed to be quite a lot of carbon fibre that flew off the back of that car when you saw it. When you saw the replays. So Haas in the clear with... What's that? Haas in the clear with what? Sorry? Didn't it come out that Haas made guns for Russia? Did they? I know they're a tool company. That's originally what they are, aren't they? Haas Tools or something. It's the Perez is over the back of Hamilton, guys. Perez is going to get Hamilton very soon. Is he going to have a go at him down into turn 4? No, Perez doesn't seem to have enough. So keep an eye on it. Hamilton going all the way around. Obviously, this back section, which is very difficult to overtake. He will stay tight to him, stay in the DRS, and then probably get him down into turn 1. Yeah, well, look, end of the day, thank you for the sub one, Mark. At the end of the day, he has to beat Tsunoda. His main goal is to beat Tsunoda. He did that yesterday. He out-qualified him by 4 positions. And then today, he just got hit by Zhou. Zhou had an absolute shocker. He had anti-stall. Ended up losing 10 positions down at the first corner. And then he ended up... rear-ending Danny Ricciardo by locking up and playing bowling, yeah, basically. He channeled his inner Bottas. Bottas had a word in his ear, didn't he, before he started the race? From his experience. Here we go. Perez with DRS down to the first corner with Hamilton. Can he get him? No, as Piastri, by the way, guys. Interestingly enough, Hamilton in all of this has been catching up to Piastri. Has Piastri had an issue? 25-1 last time around, 24-7 from Norris, 24-7 from Hamilton. Hamilton's holding off Perez, and in all of this, he's catching up to Piastri. So Piastri is, I think, just hitting his lap targets, but in all of this, has had the gap close up. That's intriguing. Maybe there is a fight on here for the last podium position, with Perez getting involved. Strike with a smile. No, it seems to be Peter Norris in this second stint has switched it on. He's gone into those hard compound tyres and he is loving life. Max just did a 23.0 on 18 old lap hard tyres. Oh, Unbelievable pace. Unbelievable pace. Right, here we go again. Round 3. Hamilton, Perez. Perez seems to be a bit closer. 7 tenths, 5 tenths now on Hamilton as they go down into the first corner. Did Hamilton use a bit more extra battery last time around to hold him off? Perez, does he try and swoop round the outside of Hamilton as they go side by side into the first corner? Perez is slightly behind, but there's double DRS down into turn 2, and I think Perez has got this move done. No! Hamilton fends him off again. Perez not able to get past Hamilton down into turn 2, and he pretty much has to wait a whole lap to get another opportunity. Woo! Some good defending here from Hamilton. Norris could be the next center if McLaren could get a much better car to fight Red Bull. Well, they're getting there. They're getting there, aren't they? They're getting closer. So Perez tried the outside, then tried the cutback, but Hamilton covered the inside and just can't. He hasn't got that tyre advantage to get round Hamilton. Right, so Piastri now has 2 track limit violations, guys. So I think Piastri might be struggling a little bit on those tyres. So, ding, ding, ding. Here we go. Round 4, turn 14. Here comes Hamilton with Perez behind. 8 tenths out of the last corner now as Perez comes into the pits. And so does Piastri. Oh, this is intriguing. This is intriguing. So, Perez will most likely go onto the hard compound, or maybe he'll go onto another set of mediums. I reckon maybe another set of mediums. And then Piastri, what is he going to go on to? Great drive from Perez this today. You can't deny it. And Piastri has come out on a set of mediums. Yep, as predicted. And so has Perez. So Piastri is going to have his work cut out for him because Perez seems very feisty today. He is going to be going at Piastri, that is for sure. So what is the Mercedes going to do? What is Lewis going to do? Is he going to stay on that hard tyre for a little bit longer? Do they think they've got a bit of pace in there? Do they react to Perez and Piastri? Let's see. 1.9 seconds Sergio Perez's pit stop was compared to Piastri's 2.8 seconds. Sub 2 seconds. Oh my God. What a pit stop from Red Bull. 28 laps on the mediums is fine, yeah, because you have to remember that at this stage of the race, they've got a lot less fuel in the car. There's less load being put on the tyres. So, yeah, the tyre wear is not going to be, or tyre deck isn't going to be as high as it was earlier on in the race. So, plus, we know that used mediums, Perez, or the Red Bull is massively quicker. So Hamilton has stayed out. Intriguing. As Leclerc comes into the pits and Russell overtakes Alonso as Alonso comes into the pits as well. So, we are at a bit of an interesting part of this race now. So I still think there's a fight on here for the last spot of this podium. Verstappen, done. He's won this race. Norris, done. He's second place. The fight for the podium is intriguing. I think they're going to take Hamilton long and hope that he comes out on some, obviously, fresher rubber, lighter fuel load at the end of the race so that he can make that time difference work. Yeah, is that fastest of the season, 1.9 seconds? It's definitely one of the fastest. That was an unbelievable pit stop, wasn't it? Yeah, it's down for Perez to do the job out on track now. So he's already over the back of Sainz, Piastri, obviously on a set of fresher medium tyres. As Norris comes into the pits, let's see what he does. Let's see what he does as he's in his pit stop now. So Hamilton is going to overtake him. And Norris has got moving very quickly. So that seems to be a pretty decent pit stop from Norris there. As Leclerc has just set the fastest middle sector on a set of hard compound tyres. Perez, though, fastest lap of the race. First man to break into the 22s all race. And he is only 1.1 seconds behind Piastri at the moment He is half a second a lap quicker last time around than Piastri was. Of course, Piastri did get caught behind Sainz, so now he has clean air. Let's see what he can do, as Leclerc was the fastest man in the last two sectors of the track there last time around on his outlap. Let's see what his sector 1 is on a harder compound tyre as well. That's quite intriguing. And Leclerc, as he goes through sector 1, does... Is he going to tell us? Where does he get through sector 1? A 30.1, so it's definitely faster than his fastest lap. So keep an eye on Hamilton. Is he going to pit again? 25 laps remaining. I think he might try and take it to 20 laps, depending on the time delta. 24.4 last time around, though, wasn't quick enough. He's done a 24.5, so they'll be doing the calculations, crunching the numbers back at Mercedes HQ to see when is the time for them to pit. Piastri defending for his life. Yeah, I mean, Perez is in that DRS now. A 22.6 compared to a 22.7 of Piastri. I mean, that's no slouch from Piastri. Obviously, a 1/10 difference there, but Perez is all over him with a DRS. So let's see the defensive chops of Piastri. Let's see what he can do defending against a seasoned F1 pro like Perez. Is he able to hold him off, position his car correctly? We know that the top end of this track is not going to be where the overtake is made unless a severe mistake is made. But it's pretty much through keeping it tight through turns 12, 12A, 13 and 14. But a purple first sector from Perez this time around. Obviously with the assistance of DRS. Come on, Piastri, you could do it. You deserve a podium, to be fair. You deserve that podium. Slightly slower middle sector from Perez there in the dirty air of Piastri's car. But he is, most importantly for him, within that 1 second, as Norris sets the fastest lap of the race, a 22.2. And Perez has kept it very tight to Piastri there out of the last corner. Half a second behind Piastri. Piastri's going to have his work cut out for him here. I think the Red Bull might have the overspeed as they go round into turn 1. And it looks like Perez has got the move done, swooping round the outside of Piastri with the DRS assistance, and he has made that look very easy. Although Piastri is coming back at Perez. Has he got him down into turn 1 and through turn 3? Oh, they definitely went side by side there, and Piastri had to back out as they make their way up to turn 4. Oh, he didn't give it up easy, Piastri. Fair play to you, buddy. Fair play. Bit of a shame there. Bit of a shame that obviously the move was done before they kind of got into T1, I think. Too much of an overdrive. Yeah, Perez swooped round the outside. Piastri, I tell you what, he made him work for it. He definitely made him work for it. As I'm watching the replay, Perez got double DRS as well. And Piastri... Oh, Piastri got onto the gravel. He went round the outside of turn 2. And, tell you what, Perez, a little bit naughty there, maybe forcing him off the track. I don't know. But that was a good... Oh, and there's a 5-second time penalty for Charles Leclerc speeding in the pit lane. Oh, no. Oh, Ferrari. Can you not just get through one weekend without, like, a penalty or something? You've already given him a 9-second pit stop, and now he's got a pit lane. Now he's got a spin in the pit lane. I mean, that's him, ultimately. That's on Leclerc, but still. So Piastri has now got a black and white flag, guys, for his off-track there at turn 2, which is a bit harsh, to be honest. It's a bit harsh. He is now one more off-track. He will get a 5-second time penalty. So, we'll see. So, let's have a look. Hamilton is still out on that set of hard compound tyres. 31 laps he has done now. He is in the low 24s. Of course, Norris is extremely quicker. Norris catching Hamilton at a quick rate of knots. I wonder if their plan is to wait until Norris catches up to him and then they're going to pit. 22 laps. Are they going to bolt on a set of softs at the end? We will see. The thing is that they need enough laps to make the delta work, make the tyre delta work. Norris getting a move on now. He's on a brand new set of medium tyres again, 29.6. So maybe they're seeing what Russell can do in a little bit of clean air just to get a bit of data and bring Hamilton in around lap 20. Typical Ferrari. Well, yeah, I mean, they've done a 9-second pit stop and 9-second pit stop on him already. It's the speeding in the pit lane is ultimately on the driver. So 22-1 from Russell last time around. Woo! Maybe he's just trying to go to the end. I don't know. Charles Leclerc just entered the pit lane too quickly and locked up his tyres. So yeah, that's why. Driver error. Driver error, guys. Well, if anyone is new to this channel and you're new in here, please hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. That's most important. I do plenty of these watch-alongs and my own sim racing content as well. So, yeah, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Turn the notifications on. You know, the usual YouTuber stuff. I'll be doing my own 100% F1 race here this weekend. As Hamilton is now in the pit lane, guys. He is in the pits. So he's going to come out, Hamilton, and he is going to be how many seconds behind Piastri? So he is going to be 7 seconds behind Piastri with 7-lap better tyres, with Piastri also having to be a little bit careful with his track limits, maybe driving a touch within himself to ensure that he doesn't get a 5-second time penalty. So Hamilton, 20 laps left. Has he got enough in the tank on those tyres to catch up to Piastri, get a 4th place, even catch up to Perez? I don't know. Perez seems like a man on a mission today. We will see. Maybe those medium tyres will fall off. Do I do endurance racing? I do. I don't do as much as I would like to at this moment in time. I am moving flat in a few weeks' time, actually, and I'm hoping from then on after. I've got a few plans in the works. I want to set up an F1 league on iRacing. I want to do some more endurance racing as well once I'm settled. So, yeah, this year's been a bit kind of up and down in that regards. But, yeah, I love it. I love doing endurance racing. I couldn't do the Spa 24 hours this weekend because I'm in a rented flat at the moment and I had people come in and do flat viewings yesterday. So I had to be out the flat to allow them to come and do viewings. Otherwise I probably would have done the Spa 24 hours. But Matt's going for softs, most likely. I mean, what is really, what doesn't really get spoken about enough, I don't think, about the Red Bull, of course, is their pace. Pace is unbelievable, but they are so good on the tyres. It's ridiculous. Max looks like he's coming into the pit lane now. So Max is in the pits now. So no, he's gonna do the sensible decision. Medium tyres probably to the end. But they're so good on their tyres. It's ridiculous. Max got to get the fastest lap. Yeah, he will. He's got plenty in hand, even on used tyres. So I think really where to keep an eye on now is the lap time of Lewis Hamilton compared to Piastri. Let's have a look. So Hamilton has set a 29.8 in the first sector last time around. Not a purple, but his fastest lap of the race, it seems like. Let's see what that lap time is compared to Piastri. 19 laps on the mediums. Yeah, easy peasy for him. Easy peasy. It's like being on the softs. It's like being on the softs for him. So Hamilton did a 22.6 compared to Piastri's 23.3, guys. So that's half a second a lap quicker. It was only 2 tenths quicker than Perez, although Perez was in the DRS, I think, of Magnussen. So let's see. I think Hamilton can catch Piastri here. Piastri on the older tyres, driving within himself because of the black and white flag. One more off track and he gets a 5-second time penalty. I think that's definitely hampering him. For Red Bull's standard, he did have a long pit stop. 2.8 seconds. That's long for their standards. I think his first pit stop was like 2.3. And then, of course, Perez had the 1.9 seconds earlier. So, yeah. Right, so let's have a look through the field, guys, and see how everyone is getting on. So, Verstappen in the lead quite comfortably, 11 seconds from Norris. And Perez has made up 6 positions to be in P3 at this moment in time. Piastri is in 4th place. Hamilton 5th, chasing down Piastri in 4th. Leclerc and Sainz in 6th and 7th, but Leclerc has a 5-second time penalty. At the moment, though, Leclerc would maintain that 6th position because he is 6 seconds ahead of his teammate. George Russell in 8th place, catching Carlos Sainz as we speak. Keep an eye on that battle because Russell is on the medium compound tyre. Alonso and Stroll, kind of a lonely race for those two today in 9th and 10th. Aston Martin have really dropped down the field in the last few races. They really haven't made the development gains that they would have liked, as Verstappen is on a hot lap here. Might get held up by Hulkenberg. We'll see. Purples in Sector 1 and Sector 2 probably still be the fastest lap, even being held up by Hulkenberg. We have Albon in 11th, Bottas in 12th, Ricciardo in 13th position, by the way. Probably going to have to make another pit stop. We'll see. Maybe he can take those medium compound tyres to the end, finishing where he started after that hit. And after, even still beating his teammate Tsunoda, we'll see. I still reckon he might have to make another pit stop. As Verstappen said, 20.5. 20.5. And there's probably more time in there because he got held up by Hulkenberg. And he just got DRS from Hulkenberg there down into the first corner. Oh, no, he's not purple, though. So, Hulkenberg 14th, Sargent 15th, Tsunoda 16th, and Zhou 17th. So, hang on, Tsunoda's lost positions there. So, we went 38 laps on the hards. Oh, okay, so his middle stint was a bit of a false position because he went so hard on the long tyre. On the medium tyre. Sorry, hard tyre. Fucking hell, spit it out, Scott. Danny might be trying to take this long. He might be just eking these tyres out and try and get to the end. Because then that would be a good result for him to beat Tsunoda. People think Hamilton had a chance today, delusional. No, I don't think so, Aaron. I think it was reasonable to think he had a chance. It all depended down into the first corner. It all depended on the first lap, really. If he could stay ahead of Max on the first lap, then possibly. But I think it's quite evident that they haven't had the pace of Max today anyway. Max would have just quite comfortably have overtaken him once he got into free air, I think. He might have struggled to maybe overtake Lewis because overtaking is one thing at this track. We've seen Perez struggle a couple of times to overtake. But once Hamilton pitted or once Hamilton got into clean air, he would have had the pace to do the undercut or the overcut, whichever they decided to do, because that Red Bull in clean air is just still the fastest car on track quite comfortably. He's had to do 40 laps on them. It's not going to work. Maybe, I don't know. I still think, probably have to come in and pit. But Alex Albon only just outside the points, having a fight with Bottas. But let's keep an eye on Hamilton because that gap has definitely closed. It's now down to a 2.1 seconds there. Apologies. 1.5 seconds time difference or 1.6 seconds difference last time around between Piastri and Hamilton. Piastri is going to be definitely under threat here from Hamilton in probably the next lap. Hamilton is taking out so much time. He took out half a second through turns 5, 6 and 7 there. Through Piastri. I'll tell you what, he could have DRS before this lap is even over and done with. Piastri really struggling. I think Piastri is just being so careful with that potential of that penalty. Perez catching Norris. I think top three with Verstappen, Perez, Norris. You think? Let's have a look. Perez 22.4 last time around. Norris at 22.7. Perez 6.3 seconds behind. Maybe. Yes, that's another gap to keep an eye on. I think Norris probably has a little bit in hand though. We'll see. As Hamilton 1.4 seconds behind. 22.2 compared to a 21 point. Wow, the last 2 laps, Hamilton's taken 3 seconds out of Piastri, guys. Piastri either struggling on those tyres or he is just, struggling with the fact that he doesn't want to go wide of certain corners and get that 5-second time penalty. Norris, gap to Perez, 6.6. Yeah, I don't. I'm pushing, mate. Basically, shut the fuck up. Piastri is cooked. Yeah, I think he's got... I think his tyres are gone. Hamilton's all over him. Let's see. He's definitely within the DRS now. 0.6. How close is he going to be? I think if he's 0.5 behind out of the turn 14, he will be able to get him down into turn 1. Definitely down into turn 2 because obviously it's double DRS. Here we go. 0.4 seconds behind. Here comes Hamilton. He's gaining. And I think he's ahead of Piastri, as the track map suggests, before they even get into turn 1. And Hamilton will have DRS again as they head down into turn 2. And there we go. Hamilton has overtaken Piastri down into turn 2. Well, confirmed into turn 2. And Piastri is now in 5th place. That is a shame for Piastri. He's had a good race today. It's a shame that, those tyres are just falling off. Obviously, the off-tracks as well, driving within himself. Still be a good result for McLaren, though. Still be a good result. Thank you for the sub, F1 fan. Much appreciated. Anyone else who has subbed and it hasn't come up as a notification, much appreciated. So, Norris, last time around, 22.9 compared to Perez, 23.5. He did get held up in traffic by Jodo. So, let's see what they do this time around. Yeah, Checo got held up by Zhou that time, the last lap. So we'll see what he does in clean air. Let's see. So Norris did a 23.1 and Perez did a 22.4. So it was an easy overtake from Lewis. Piastri didn't fight him. Down into turn 1. So Perez does have the pace. If it stayed at 7 tenths a lap, he's got the pace, being only being less than 6 seconds behind. This could come down to the last lap, guys, between Perez and Norris if they hold up his pace. And Norris has got traffic to contend with as well. Oh, Norris is catching traffic at definitely the worst part of the circuit. Even though they are instructed to get out of the way, you cannot go as quick through these corners as you would like in clean air because you do receive the dirty air, even at a lower speed that these cars are travelling. So Hamilton over the back of Magnussen. So Hamilton's already pulling away from Piastri. Nothing's happening here. I'm surprised we haven't seen a safety car, you know, guys. Surprised we haven't seen that. But yeah, big thank you to everyone who's liked and subscribed, guys. Much appreciated. If you can hit the like button, that'd be even greater. I don't know what we have. How many likes are we on? 56 likes. Is that it? Is that it? Come on, you can hit that like button. We've got 350 of you in here. You can hit the like button and push us to over 100 likes. That'd be much appreciated. So what was that lap time around? 21.3 seconds faster than Norris last time around. I told you the traffic is... Norris still hasn't overtaken Tsunoda. Wow. So that is a big issue for Norris here. He cannot... I thought he'd get past Tsunoda. I thought Tsunoda would have had blue flags and would have been forced to let him by, but clearly maybe not close enough. Because Norris clearly being affected here by the dirty air. 23.6 is not a time that Norris can do in clean air. This is falling into Checo's hands. Come on, Lando. Come on, buddy. You could do it. I mean, Tsunoda really needs to play ball here. But, of course, Tsunoda's in his own fight, trying to catch up to Sargent. I'm surprised Tsunoda hasn't got blue flags. Lando Norris, fuck, they have to get out of the way. He's had so many blue flags. He's not racing for anything. I agree with you. I agree with you. And he's finally let him out of the way. He's finally let him out of the way. I am surprised about that Tsunoda held him up for so long. That has not played into his hands. And, of course, what will happen... AlphaTauri, let's be honest, guys, is not going to hold up Perez, is he? He's not going to hold up he's not going to hold up a Red Bull. Let's be honest, guys. That is not good for Norris. There's 3 seconds gap now. Manara, Louis, thank you for the subs, guys. Much appreciated. Thank you, everyone who's tuning in and is new to the channel. It did a little bit, didn't it? I didn't think of it at the time, Del, but I mean, AlphaTauri does have history of certain moments in history of their cars being holding up other cars to help Red Bull, and like their cars to start from the pit lane or start from further down the back of the grid for taking penalties to hold up, or to make one of their cars move up the grid and stuff. There's been some very dodgy decisions actually by AlphaTauri that have inadvertently helped Red Bull in the past. If you go back and look at them, there's quite a few cases. Normally when the engine penalties are introduced as well. Obviously when the Red Bull has to take a penalty and they do so as well so that they make up 2 positions. I'm just saying. Hold up Lando. Yeah, I don't know. No comment. But it did seem very sus that he held him up for a whole lap. Because Lando was definitely like within 1.5 seconds. Definitely. So we'll see. So let's see if Sargent gets out of the way of Norris. I think Perez can do it. I think Perez truly can. I still think my points... I still think my original guess stands. Last lap. I think last lap is what it's going to come down to, guys. That's what I think it will come down to. Everything okay? Just checking in. GP with Max. Yeah, I'm just chilling. So Lando has got ahead of Sargent as Perez got ahead of Tsunoda. 3.2 seconds now. So Lando does have a bit of free air, guys. He does have a bit of free air. So let's have a look a little bit further down the grid. So Russell is chasing down Sainz, 1.9 seconds behind now to Sainz. I thought he would have caught him a lot quicker, to be perfectly honest, as Leclerc is 5.2 seconds ahead of Sainz. So Sainz gets within that 5-second gap, then he will get a position on Leclerc, same as Russell. So that is obviously both of their aim. Alonso obviously running his own race, very lonely for him today. We have Albon in 11th. Good result for him, holding off Bottas. 5 positions gained. Ricciardo still on those tyres, guys. I told you he's going to take him to the end because Hulkenberg isn't catching. Hulkenberg is doing 24/7s on a old set of hard tyres. Ricciardo 24/5 last time around. So Ricciardo is doing good lap times. And if you compare that to Yuki just did a 24.4 on 17 old lap hard, 17 old mediums, and Ricardo's are twice. It's pretty much twice as old, double as old as Tsunoda's, and he's a 10th off. That's pretty good going. That is pretty good going. And after the incident he had at the start of the race, if Ricardo finishes in 13th and beats Tsunoda, there's not much more you can ask for that. That is a great weekend. That's a great weekend for him. So, yeah, guys, if you can hit the like button, I need 20 more likes. Come on, hit the like button to get us over to 100 likes. It'd be much appreciated. Come on, you can hit the thumbs up. Especially considering the start, Del. Yeah, most definitely. So let's keep an eye on Norris and Perez. So 3.7 seconds behind now. So he's been held up by Sargent a bit there. Sargent not playing ball as the AlphaTauri did. And there are 7 laps remaining. And Norris, important for Norris, he's cleared Hulkenberg. He's cleared Hulkenberg and he's been able to get some clean air. And also, in all of this, Hamilton has caught up to them a bit as well. Hamilton's 22.4. Hamilton has really been able to close the gap to Perez with them being held up in traffic there. Not enough left for him to make up that deficit, I don't think, as Russell is now in the DRS of Carlos Sainz. Not going to have enough down into turn 1. Will he have a look, though, on the brakes? Very late on the brakes there, George, as he's almost side by side with Sainz through turn 1. But has he gone too deep there? Because obviously multiple DRS down into turn 2, making Sainz think about it. And he holds off for another lap. Should have him next time around. Danny has sort of put it, yeah, I mean, 30, he's definitely on, he's been on that tyre longer than anyone else is currently on their current tyre. So there's no one with the hard compound tyre on 37 laps. Yuki took the hard tyre 38 laps earlier. So, yeah, he's definitely going to be on that tyre for the longest out of anyone. Good strategy call, really, from AlphaTauri. Very good strategy call. Max in low man. Max has gone. Max is 25 seconds, 26 seconds ahead. So really, that shows the true pace of the Red Bull still. They're not hiding that pace anymore. Like, they've been sandbagging, I think, in some races. This race indicates how quick they are. Like, 26 seconds ahead of the next best car. Just happy he seems to be able to wrestle the car around. Yeah, I mean, it's a great weekend for him. It's a great weekend. You've beaten your teammate in qualifying. You've been rammed into T1, probably driving a car is damaged, most definitely damaged. And you fought your way back to 13th place. And you're asked to basically take a medium compound tyre to take it 40 odd laps. It will be over 40 laps by the time this race is ended. I mean, that's a great performance from him. 5 more likes to 100, guys. Come on, hit the like button. Smash it. So, Russell now ahead of Sainz. I completely missed that, guys. Apologies. But yeah, George Russell, head of Sainz. I just saw it back on the TV. Interesting here, guys. Hamilton is 4 seconds behind Perez. The Mercedes, as they've just stated on Sky, the Mercedes comes alive on low fuel, as it did evidently yesterday in Q3. We was all talking about Norris and Perez. Well, Perez is now 5 seconds behind, so Norris has this in the bag. Is this going to be Hamilton fighting for a podium? Hamilton smells blood. Does Hamilton have it in him? He's clearing the traffic a lot quicker than Perez did. Hulkenberg hopefully Hulkenberg gets out of the way of Hamilton very quickly. And I'll tell you what, we've got a 4-lap dash here between Hamilton and Perez for P3. I think we do. I think we do. I think Hamilton's got 7-lap newer tyres than Perez as well. Let's see that gap. Let's keep an eye on it. I mean, we have to, really, because there's not much else happening. Let's be honest. There's not much else happening out on track at the moment, apart from Tsunoda and Sargent, who are having a battle with Hulkenberg. Danny Rick strolling around on his 40-odd lap medium tyres. Albon and Bottas have been separated by a second or so for the last 50 laps. What about Russell on Leclerc? Well, Russell is within that 5-second gap to Leclerc, so he will gain that position regardless on Leclerc. That'll be 12 positions gained. That's pretty good for him. Then we have Sainz is falling back on those hard compound tyres. He is definitely not within the 5-second gap to Leclerc. So George Russell is all about staying within that 5 seconds. And then Piastri, it's just getting slower and slower. Leclerc's quicker than him at the moment on the hard compound tyre. So Hamilton, 2.6 seconds. He is gaining big time on that Red Bull through the middle and last sector, guys. Wow, the Red Bull is struggling under traction for sure. I told you, we might see it. How much time does he gain out of the last corner, Hamilton? He gained 2 tenths there out of the last corner. 2.3 seconds behind. Oh, I tell you what, we could be here for a last lap dash. Last lap dash between Hamilton and Perez. That'd be good. Who's looking? Who do you want? Perez to get the podium. Hamilton to get the podium. Who we fighting for here, guys? Who are we rooting for? So Perez gains in the first sector where the top end speed comes to life. But Hamilton just seems to really take it out of Perez in this middle sector. Watch that interval come down. Maybe it was just a fluke last lap. No, look at that. Through turn 8 and 9, he is taking out chunks. And there's a yellow flag. Sargent has had a coming together with Tsunoda. And he's okay. He's okay. There's obviously been a coming together between Sargent and Tsunoda there. Maybe there isn't going to be enough time. Maybe there isn't just going to be enough time. 2 laps remaining. Just waiting for it to catch up on TV. I think Sargent might have lost. I reckon they went into the chicane side by side and they've had contact. Waiting for it. Oh, man, my TV coverage is so far behind. Are they going to show it? No, they're not going to show it. Okay, good. So Hamilton is 1.9 seconds behind. So he needs to... This is the last lap, really, for him to get into DRS. If he doesn't, then Perez has got this podium because he'll be too far behind. But keep an eye on this section here. This is really where he makes up the time. Just watching Logan Sargent. Oh, Logan Sargent just spun it into the chicane. Driver error. So, yeah, there we go. 1.6 seconds. Not enough. Hamilton needed a couple more laps, I think. Not too much, Jasper, to be perfectly honest with you. It's not been the most interesting race, apart from the start, I'd say. The field spread out very quickly, I feel like. I do feel like that was the case. So Hamilton, here we go, guys. On to the last lap as Verstappen has a 33-second lead over Lando Norris. Wow. What another great drive from him, and that Red Bull Everyone thinks that they've made up time on the Red Bull. Well, 33 seconds is unbelievable from your next best competitor. Norris in second, Perez third at the moment, being chased down by Hamilton. But we know that there's not really any overtaking opportunities here as Russell all over the back of Leclerc. Wow, Leclerc really had some issues in the last couple of laps as Verstappen crosses the line and is your Hungarian Grand Prix winner, guys. Wow. Never in doubt, I guess, once he got into the lead. Never in doubt, eh? And that is the new record, I believe. Is that the new record or is that the joint record of amount of wins in a row from a team? So that is ridiculous from them. Lando Norris comes across the line and is your second place finisher. A great performance from him. Danny Rick crosses the line in 13th. Perez gets a third place finish, a podium. Good drive from him on a track that's difficult to overtake on. Hamilton, not great for him. Fourth place after a poor start. Piastri is yet to cross the line, nearly being caught by Leclerc in fifth position. And yes, he does, in fifth place. A good day at the office for him overall, really. Leclerc in sixth, but he'll lose that position to George Russell with a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, as it's just been changed over there. George Russell, 12 places gained, started 18th today, guys. Probably driver of the day, to be honest, other than maybe Max, then Orlando. Then we have Sainz in 8th, Alonso in 9th, Stroll in 10th. We have Albon in 11th, Bottas 12th, Ricciardo, great day for him. 43 laps, guys, 43 laps on those medium tyres to finish where he started after that first lap incident. Hulkenberg 14th, Tsunoda 15th, Zhou 16th. Terrible day for him. Magnussen 17th, Sargent, Ocon and Gasly are your retirees. And that is it, guys. That is your Hungarian Grand Prix. If you can hit the like button, if you can hit the subscribe button on your way out of this stream. I know people dive out once the race has ended, but it'd be greatly appreciated. We'll be back here again for Spa, of course, which is coming up very soon. And then we go into the summer break. But yeah, overall, it was billed to be a great race, but I thought it fizzled out very quickly, personally. Let's have a look at who your driver of the day is, guys. Thank you, Rich. Thanks, Swan. No problem. Much appreciated, everyone. Let's have a look at who is your driver of the day. But once again, I think the headline here is that Red Bull is still absolutely ridiculous. It is just so quick. 33 seconds ahead of second place. Let's have a look. Lando go, let's go! I can't. There's a delay in my poll, but tell you what. Let me know in the chat, guys. Who do you think is your driver of the day? Do you think? I think personally, it's between 4 people. I think it's between Verstappen, Norris, Perez, and George Russell. Who do you think is your driver of the day? Let me know in the chat. For me, I'm going to say George Russell. I don't think you can overlook 12 positions gained. A lot of them out on track as well and done by raw pace. On a track that's quite difficult to overtake, there's only a couple of positions to overtake. I think that's brilliant to make his way up from 18th to 12th to 6th place. I think Perez is a close second because he needed that this weekend, especially after what happened in practice 1 and not having a good overall good qualifying either. And then, I mean, Max is probably next with Lando a close 4th because you can't look past the fact that Max just does it week in, week out. It's easy to switch off when you're this dominant. It's very, very easy. And yeah, he's just not making any mistakes, and neither is that Red Bull team. Max is always driver of the day. Is he actual driver of the day, though? I don't know who the vote of the driver of the day has come up as. But yeah, or you could arguably say Danny Rick. Actually, I forgot Daniel Ricciardo because he started 13th. He got completely rear-ended, hit the Alpines because of it, had damage, no doubt, on his car, and took, in his last stint, medium tyres, 43 laps, the longest of anyone on those stints. Talk about a difficult way for you to come back into F1 after 6 months off. Like, that's probably harder for him to manage tyres for 43 laps than it would be going wheel to wheel with someone, because that takes some doing. That takes skill, that takes experience, and he's dragged his car back into a recovery of where he started and still beat his teammate. That is a great weekend back for Danny Rick. Hey, One Space, thank you, buddy. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, thanks everyone who has dropped by. It's been a good stream. As I said, I always enjoy doing these. Always enjoy commentating, and I welcome back. So it's good to see some regular faces as well. It's good to see regular faces. Violet, you didn't know I was live. You got to turn the notifications on. You got to hit that bell, and you'll know I'm live. But just waiting to see what they're gonna chat and say in the cool-down room. Obviously, they do their interviews before they go up to the cool-down room and onto the podium now. But that is actually indeed a record broken. Red Bull have won 12 races in a row, and no other team has done that. I think McLaren was 11 back in the 80s, and they've just won 12 races in a row. And Max has just won... How many races is that for Max in a row now? That's at least 7, is it? Is it 6 races in a row now he's won? That's a lot of races. No worries, Chewy. Magnus, thank you for the sub, buddy. Much appreciated. And anyone else who has subbed as well in the meantime. If you can hit the like button, it still helps push the stream and helps push the channel onto new viewers as well. We want to grow this community. We want to grow this channel. We love F1 here. I'll be doing my own F1 race later on, actually, on iRacing. They do special events that are in conjunction with this, with real life F1 races. Unfortunately, it's the W13 I have to race in, but it's as close to the real thing as you can probably race. So, no, it's the Verstappen podcast in the cool-down room. Yeah. Will I be live next week for Belgium? Oh, yes, I will be. Yeah, we'll be live for Spa next week. What is it? That'll be the 20th. I should be around to do the qualifying as well next week as well. But a shame there that... I mean, what's everyone's thoughts? What did you think of that race? What were your overall thoughts about it? Did you enjoy it? Did you think it was a bit boring? I thought it fizzled out very quickly, in my opinion. I think it fizzled out quite quickly. Oscar deserved the podium. Yeah, he did. He did. The good thing is that Oscar's putting himself there. He's in his rookie year. Lando's been in F1 for 4 years now. Is it his 4th year or 5th year? So the fact of it, Piastri's there and he's showing that talent and he's putting himself in the right positions. He'll get one this year, especially with the way McLaren are performing at the moment. Didn't expect Max to overtake Hamilton so soon. Yeah, neither did I. I thought Hamilton would actually get a good start, but Verstappen nailed his start. You can't deny that. I think Max quite evidently would have overtaken Hamilton at some point, or overtaken him maybe in clean air once he did an undercut and overcut. Clearly had the quickest car today, but yeah, I thought that fight might last a little bit longer at least and make things interesting, but it didn't. Yeah, it's a shame. But once again, though, guys, I mean, Ferrari 7th and 8th, not too bad. It's an improvement from last week, I think it was. But they've really fallen off the pack. And Aston Martin, big story here. Aston Martin are not performing. Stroll getting lapped there by Red Bull. A considerable amount behind the Mercedes and the Ferraris. where has their performance gone? Where has the Aston Martins gone? They're suffering big time in these last few races. Alpine pain. Yeah, I mean, in fairness to them, wasn't their fault. Wrong place, wrong time today. It was entirely on Zhou. Zhou had an absolute shocker. How do I think the Mercedes performed? Quite evidently, it seems to be the Mercedes struggled on high fuel. But as soon as the fuel came off, they were a better performing car. Which is different to how they've been previously. Previously, they've been a car that performs better on the Sundays and not been great over a single lap. This weekend, it was roles reversed. They were quicker when they had lower fuel in the car, hence with the pole position yesterday, and then Hamilton getting quicker at the end there. So, yeah, strange one from Mercedes. Look, Mercedes is one where they're having to bolt on parts. They're having to bolt on new parts to a chassis that isn't designed for it. So they're technically what they're doing, they're trying to figure out if the parts that they've got do the job that they intend to do, and if they can close the gap to Red Bull. If they can, then they know they're heading in the right direction, and then they can come out with a whole brand new car next year, which is everything's designed to be, every part is designed to go into that. At the moment, they've got a car which is kind of just being, it's like a DIY job. They're bolting things on here and there where it shouldn't be. So in the grand scheme of things, the fact that they got pole position yesterday and that they're still fighting for podiums and that is probably progress for them. Ferrari are probably already given up this year. Their drivers most definitely have. Leclerc definitely has. He wants to start next year. Leclerc wants to be fighting for a championship. He doesn't want to be fighting for 5th place or even podiums. He wants to be fighting for race wins. They've got a lot of work to do to sort out their car. They're probably a similar position to Mercedes, just focusing on next year already. Aston Martin have really dropped back. McLaren's a real good. It's great to see McLaren back. Isn't it great to see McLaren back? Thank you, Creative. It's so good to see them back. Norris getting podiums, being up the front of the grid where he deserves. Piastri, I've always rated Piastri as well. We just need that fight for the win now. That's what we need. I think if it is, on one hand, you have to credit Max and Red Bull and what they've done. But on the other hand, you're like, oh, I just so wish that he wouldn't turn up for a weekend. Because think how close every race would probably be for the win and how chop and change it would be between the teams. Like early on in the year, Aston Martin and Mercedes and Ferrari were even there. Now we've got Red Bull, and now we've got McLaren fighting up there as well. Oh, it would have been probably one of the best F1 seasons ever. Like most of the season, quali over race day. Yeah. Not so exciting, but like an open soda fizzled out. It did, didn't it, really? Zhou's deserved better than that start, was horrendous. Yeah, he had an absolute shocker. That might be pressure. He's never been in that position before. He's never started that high up the grid. Dropped the clutch. Anti-stall kicked in. Lost so many positions at the start, and then trying to maybe make up for that poor start. Locks up, and then inadvertently takes out 2 cars, and gets a 5-second penalty. Mercedes have already started again from scratch, Sahel. They're already working on it. So you'll see the car next year is completely new, but the parts that they've got on this car at the moment aren't designed for this car. They've been bolted on into places where they necessarily shouldn't be. It's like a patch job. Next year is where there'll be a new car from scratch. Hey, normal once again. Ricciardo's doing better than Tsunoda. Can't believe Tsunoda did not finish in front. Yeah, I mean, maybe strategy did him in, I think. They started him on the soft tyre. I think Tsunoda got a bit shafted by strategy today. They started him on the soft tyre. They pitted him lap 9, and they took him really long on the hard tyre, and then put him on the medium. And it just didn't work out for him. They should have started him on the medium, even if it was a used medium. Started him on the medium, and then run him longer. Medium, hard, medium would have been better for him. similar to what Danny Rick did. But I'm quite surprised I don't know why Danny Rick came in and pitted after 14 laps. Does anyone know that? I'm intrigued to see why that was. I think the flat McLaren second shows how much Ferrari and Mercedes have dropped the ball. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Or maybe it just shows that McLaren initially had a good base. They had a good baseline, and then they've just been able to build upon that. Whereas I just said, Mercedes didn't have a good baseline. They've now got better parts, but they haven't got that initial baseline, that initial core of the car that needs to be worked around. Whereas for McLaren, it's opposite. They had that initial good base, but all the other parts that went onto it weren't, and now they've improved it. But I'm happy to see McLaren up there. Happy. Do I think Charles should leave Ferrari to win a championship? Do you know what? I get asked this question every time, Sabucio. Every time. Not at this moment in time, no. No, because everyone else is struggling. It's so flip-floppy in regards to the development of the cars at the moment. The only sure car to win a championship at the moment is Red Bull. Is Leclerc going to end up in a Red Bull car? No. So he either goes to Mercedes. Evidently, you'd say the only place for him to move to is Mercedes, I think, at this moment in time. Yes, McLaren are up there at the moment, but it's only 2 races. We need to see if it continues for longer than that. I think he's just got to stay. I think he's got to stay at Ferrari, and then we'll see. But stranger things have happened in F1. So we'll see. We'll see. I think he's still best positioned. And I still think Ferrari see him as their number 1 driver. While they won't admit it, he is their number 1 driver. And if they get a championship winning car, he will be able to extract that championship for them over Sainz. So in 22, they have all their problems that they had with the W13, so in 23 with the W14. I.e. the porpoising and that, yeah. But then they didn't realise how much of a gain Red Bull were still going to make on them with the W14. So, yeah, they've had to kind of... They sorted out the porpoising and the issues with the W13 to an extent, but then they were like, no, we need a fundamental change now. It's clearly not working. I think it was a tyre after contact with an Alpine. Why Rick pit? Was it? Okay. What, for lap 14, did they notice something? Did they, into that second stint, that they said, oh, you need to come in? Yeah, maybe the damage that they got from the car progressively got worse, and they had to sort it out and bring him in early. They need to get rid of Mike Elliott and hire Stuffey. I'm ready. Max Costa shots to Red Bull. Lando Norris to Red Bull in 2025. No, don't see it happening. Don't see it happening. I don't see it, because Lando goes into that team with Max. The whole dynamic of Lando with Max changes. Like, it changes. I think he stays at McLaren. McLaren have made progression. They've got potential to become a front-running car again. Well, they already are, but they've got potential to be a championship-winning team in the future. He can be that number 1 driver. He's clearly embedded himself into that team. And I just don't see him going to Red Bull and being that direct fight with his teammate Verstappen. Red Bull is Verstappen's team, as you just said. He goes in there, Lando. Red Bull ideally do not want 2 drivers fighting it out. They ideally want one that's slightly better than the other. And if they bring Lando in, it's just going to cause fireworks, I think. It will cause fireworks. Verstappen and Norris's relationship will probably end, similar to how Rosberg and Hamilton's did. And yeah, I just don't see that happening. I think Danny Rick will be back in it. I think Danny Rick will be back in it starting next year. I think he will be. I think Perez is gone end of this year, no matter what they say. Yeah, Zed, I do. They'll go, oh yeah, Perez has got a contract end of the year. Contracts mean zilch. They mean zilch. They will get rid of Perez if they think so, if they think Danny Rick is the right reason. So I think this is what will happen. I think what will happen is we will have Danny Rick move up into the Red Bull seat. We'll have Liam Lawson move into that AlphaTauri seat. And then I think Yuki Tsunoda will either remain or he'll move on and someone else might come into that seat. I think there could be a bit of a merry-go-round at the end of this year again. Have I played F1? No, I haven't, Gamer. I haven't, but I do have it installed. I intend to do some content on it this week and actually see how it is. Can I make a career mode? Yeah, possibly. It all depends how much I enjoy it, to be honest, Gamer. I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to do kind of my old review / comparison video to iRacing because I raced the F1 car on iRacing a lot. Just to see how it feels. I know it's different, but just to see how it compares. And then, yeah, I may do an F1 career mode, guys. If you want to see it, I'll do it. Will they pay off Perez? Yeah. Yeah, Red Bull's got so much money. A year of paying off a year of Perez's contract will be totally worth it. Danny Ricciardo's contract was worth 20 million because he had 3 years left on his contract, I think. 2.5 years. So he had quite a considerable amount of time left on his contract, which would cost a lot. Perez has 1 year left. So, do you think Hamilton will extend his contract with Mercedes or look elsewhere? He will extend. So, from the word on the grapevine, from what I've heard, is that the reason Hamilton hasn't signed a contract yet with Mercedes is that he initially wanted to sign a 4-year contract. And Mercedes went, like, we want you, but we don't want to give you a 4-year contract. Like, we just want to give you a yearly rolling contract. Like, basically, we want to give you a year, review it, and then in another year until then. Like, we know you can probably go on into your 40s. That's what we want to do. And Hamilton's like, nope, I want to have a 4-year contract. It's not the money. They've agreed the money. That's the easy part. It's the length of the contract. So we'll see. I think something will be announced regardless over the summer break. That's normally when people have re-signed contracts or are moving on. That's silly season, as they called it. That's when we'll hear about Hamilton's contracts. Yuki to Williams after Sargent gets shafted. No, I think Williams are invested in Sargent. So they've quite evidently been said that they don't really care too much about Sargent's performance this year. This is a coaching year for him. They've literally been coaching him over the radio about, like, when he's been driving in the rain and things like that, and in certain scenarios how to look after tyres. They are truly developing Logan Sargent, and they see him as an important part of their team. They've quite clearly got enough investment. They've got a new, obviously, team principal, James Vowles, and they've got obviously Alex Albon, who's very experienced. Look, P11 today, nearly just outside, just nearly in the points. 14.5 seconds away from the points, but 1 position away from the points. Not bad going for the Williams. So I think he'll be there for another season at least. Performance-related contract for Hamilton. Yeah, I think that's what they're looking for. I think they're looking... So it's like footballers. When footballers get to a certain age, like in their 30s, they go, okay, we'll give you an extra year. We'll give you a year rolling contract. So we'll review it at the end of the year. Because they also know as well, from their, like, the team's perspective, they also know, well, we don't want you to then decide that, like, you've almost retired. Like, because sometimes individuals, they get to a point where they're like, oh, I don't really care if, like, in my life, let's say they sign a 2-year contract rather than a rolling year contract. They can just sit there on the bench and go, well, I'm not really going to perform for the next year. I'll just get my wage. I'll turn up for training every day and then I'll retire. The team don't want to do that. The team want that extra year, knowing that if that is kind of the mindset that they're getting in that last year and they see that, they can just go, no, we're not going to sign you on a new contract. Shake your hand, bygones be bygones. That's probably what I want to do with Hamilton as well. He's picking up McLaren a lot lately. Yes, I think he's always talked well with McLaren though. Like, he's got an affinity with them, isn't he? He really does like McLaren. I think he's got Hamilton Hamilton wants to see them back up there. Maybe you see a swan song with Hamilton at McLaren. I don't think so. I don't think you do. I think the only way that happens is if Norris moves somewhere. But I think Hamilton's at Mercedes for the rest of his career. When Hamilton got pole yesterday, all the neighbourhood heard me scream. I think so. I think the teams will catch up to Red Bull. They will. We'll see. We'll see if this big deficit lasts. I think for F1 in general, they want that gap to be closer. They want Red Bull to not be winning as much. They want another season like 2021, or at least where there's a championship fight. The last couple of years, of course, it's been over and done with by the summer break. F1 fans don't want that. The casual, trying to get new people into the sport, that's not going to do any good for them. So from a business perspective, it's not good to have any team or any driver dominating a sport as much as they are. That's why I think there was so much leeway in regards to penalising Max in 2021, and I think he got away with a lot, is because the head honchos at F1 wanted that fight to go on for as long as it did, because it's eyes on the sport, and because probably deep down they wanted a new champion, because it's always good to have a new team or a new driver win every now and then, especially after a year of so many years of dominance. But what we've jumped into, though, is we've gone from a period of dominance from Mercedes into a period of dominance from Red Bull and Verstappen. So it's F1 are probably sitting there now scratching their heads going, how do we sort this? Is this Max Verstappen era? Potentially, yeah. Yeah, it is potentially. Definitely looks like that way. The other teams, how quickly can they catch up? We'll see. What's happened to Alonso and Aston Martin? Alonso's still been performing. The Aston Martins have just stayed stagnant. That's the problem with them. Every other team has catched up and overtaken them. So Mercedes overtook them. McLaren have overtaken them. And they're now like the fourth best car on the grid. So, yeah, intriguing. But anyway, guys, I'm going to call it there. What's that? We don't want any of that in here, to be honest. CD, we respect all drivers in here. We respect the racing. And to be honest, if that's how you're going to treat any driver or any fan of any driver, then you can go do one. Off you pop, basically. So yeah, what is the future for Ferrari on a final note? The future for Ferrari is, I would like to think that they're just putting all the development into next year. At the end of the day, this year has been an absolute write-off for them again. Next year is truly where it's Fred Vasseur's car. Fred Vasseur, next year, because really this year's car was already in development when Fred Vasseur took over. So there's always a delay in regards to what he implements, and the new people that he brings in is shown out on track. I truly think that any changes that he makes will be seen next year rather than this year. So if Ferrari don't get their act together next year, then they're gone. Well, I say they're gone. Why am I saying they're gone? They're gone. They're in true shit. They're in true shit. Not any driver, only Hamilton. I don't care. I don't care who it's targeted at. Whether you think it's Gasly, Max, or anything like that. Like, no, you cannot be a fan of someone. Don't come in spouting shit, basically. All right. So that's that. Anyway, have a lovely rest of your evening, guys. Morning, afternoon, day. I'm now going to go chill. And yeah, we will see you guys next week for Spa. Have a lovely rest of your day. Yeah, hit the like and subscribe button on your way out. and I will see you guys next week. See you then. Bye.